Okay, first up we have Agent 13, that's Sharon Carter. So 3 mana, 3/2, legendary creature, human spy hero. I have a feeling we're going to be saying legendary creature a lot today. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, investigate. That's kind of interesting. It kind of reminds me of the old exalted mechanic. When something attacks or alone, or they'll get like a +1 counter or something like that. But investigate, that's interesting. Does not seem very powerful to me, but it's an Agent of Shield, so I guess that's kind of thematic. And with this Universes Beyond stuff, they like to be thematic. Okay, next up, Agent Maria Hill. It's a 2/1 for a single white mana. That's a lot better. Whenever Agent Maria Hill becomes tapped to pay a teamwork cost, put a +1/+1 counter on her and draw a card. That I can see actually being pretty decent. That's actually pretty cool. We would have to see the teamwork cards themselves to see if this is actually a decent payoff or not. Agent of Atlas. It's a 2 mana, 2/2, prowess. Okay, it's just a 2/2 with prowess. That's not too shabby, honestly. I mean, you don't get a whole lot of like white prowess creatures, but it is what it is, right? Okay. Agent Phil Coulson. This is easily a fan favorite card here. So 2/2, Vigilance, tap, put a +1/+1 counter on each other hero you control. Huh, that's actually pretty cool. 2/2 for 2, Vigilance. You can swing with it, and then after combat you can tap it to put +1/+1 counters on. That's not too shabby, honestly. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Agents of Shield. So 2/4 for 3 mana. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 to on a turn. So I'm seeing quite a lot of these exalted-esque type creatures. I'm thinking that's going to be a theme. Avengers Assemble. 4 colors and a white mana. Enchantment. Flash, heroes you control get +2/+2. At the beginning of each end step, if you attacked with a hero this turn, or a hero entered the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. That's pretty decent. What makes this actually good, though, is the fact that it has Flash. So you could play this as a late game combat trick. And honestly, the second part, the drawing cards part, probably won't be too relevant unless you're playing like a really long game. Because if you give all your dudes +2/+2 as a late game combat trick, you're most likely winning the game. I mean, it is a pretty expensive. It's 5 mana to do this, but it's flash speed and it puts a permanent on the table, so you can actually do quite a bit with that. That's pretty interesting. I like it. Burrow Backup. 4 colorless and a white. Sorcery. Create 2 3/2 white Vigilance creature tokens with Vigilance, and it has basic land cycling too. I like this because it gives you an option to do things with either the cycling or actually casting it. That's actually pretty strong. So if you happen to have this in your opening hand, you can just land cycle it away and prevent yourself from getting mana screwed. That's pretty good. And the whole like creating 2 3/2 white creatures with Vigilance, not bad, not bad. It's not good. It's not bad. This is probably something you'll see in limited, but you'll never see this in constructed. It's just too slow for what it does. Brave Brawler. It's a 2/1 for 2 mana. It has a lifelink and power up. So power up is one of the new mechanics from this set. Basically, it works like this. So you play the creature, and if you want to, you can activate power up the turn that it comes into play, and the cost is reduced by the amount of mana spent to cast the creature. So in this case, with Brave Brawler, it has a cost of 2, right? So power up is 5. It would only be 3 mana when you cast it this turn, if you activate the ability this turn. But his ability is put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature. So it's not the greatest ability in the world, but it's a 2/1 for with lifelink for 2 mana. Again, it's draft chaff. It's not that great, but it does give us an example of power up. Okay, next up we have Captain America Super Soldier. So 3/2 with first strike, human soldier hero for 1 white, or 1 colorless and 2 white. Captain America enters with a Of course, he enters with a shield counter on him. Okay, that's actually funny. Okay, so if you have not been playing for a while, there was a set about 3-ish years ago called Streets of New Capenna, and one of the mechanics of that set was shield counters. Basically, it works like a one-time damage shield or a one-time destruction shield. If damage would be dealt to the creature with a shield counter, or if the creature was be like targeted with like a Doomblade or something, the shield counter will then be destroyed instead. So it kind of like it eats removal, which is pretty decent. So Captain America having a shield counter is actually really funny. Okay, as long as Captain America has a shield counter on him, you and other heroes you control have hexproof. Oh, that's actually really strong. So he's a 3/2 with first strike. It gives you, the player, hexproof, and the rest of your team hexproof. And so this guy is the only guy that can be targeted with anything. That's really interesting. I could see this going into like a white and black deck that also runs Cecil from Final Fantasy, because Cecil, when Cecil flips, he suddenly gives the rest of your team indestructible when attacking. So that can be a pretty good pair up. Something to think about. Captain America Wings of Freedom. Okay, so this is the Falcon version. So 3/1, flying, first strike, and ward 1. Also only costs 3 mana. Whenever Captain America attacks, each other hero you control gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is Captain America's toughness. Okay, so you're going to need something to buff this Captain America's toughness, definitely. Because on its own, flying first strike, ward 1. Honestly, he's pretty decent for only 3 mana. But that buff, it's like you're definitely going to want to put him in maybe like an enchantments build or +1 counters build to really capitalize on that ability. Okay. Next up is Captain Marvel Earth's Protector. It's a 5/4 for 5 mana. It's flash, flying, and lifelink. Okay. That's all words I really like, so that's good. And it has power up of 5 colorless and double white. Put a +1/+1 counter and an indestructible counter on Captain Marvel. Okay, so that ability is way too expensive. So you probably play this as just a flash flying lifelink. And just go to town with that, because that on its own is really strong. The power up is way too expensive, because even if you get the mana discount when you play Captain Marvel, you're still going to have to wait until you have about 7 mana to play this card for full effect. So it is cool. It's very cool. But I don't think I would ever use that extra ability. Okay, next up, Captain Marvel Spaceborne. So this is a 4/4 flying and vigilance for 5 mana again. And it says Cosmic Awareness. As long as an opponent has cast a spell this turn, you may cast spells as though they had flash. Wow. That is actually even better than Captain Marvel. Because like, if you're playing with this, like, people are obviously going to be playing cards on their turn. So this basically just says you have flash. You can play whatever you want at instant speed. That's really cool. I like that a lot. And also, he's really splashable because he's only has 1 white pip in his casting cost. That's actually something to keep an eye on. And it's uncommon too, so you can pick that up pretty cheap. Colleen Wing, Street Samurai. Interesting. So 2/2 for 2. Legendary creature, human samurai hero. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Colleen Wing and scry. Hey, that's actually pretty good. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, she gets a +1/+1 counter and you scry. So that automatically slots right into the Silver Quill Repartee style of deck. Because like that just synergizes super well with that deck. Yeah, that's actually something to keep an eye on. That's pretty good. Crowd of True Believers. 1 white mana for a 1/2 human citizen. And it taps target creature you control that's attacking alone gets +1/+0 until end of turn. You gain 1 life. That's kind of cool. I also like that it's called a Crowd of True Believers. And because that's what Stanley used to call like fans of his work. He'd like open up like uh interviews or things like that where things where he was like basically doing talking head work, and he would greet his audience by saying hello true believers. I think that's a pretty cool homage. I like that. Okay, next up, Helicarrier Strike, 1 white mana, instant, teamwork 2. Okay, so here's what teamwork is. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may tap any number of creatures you control with total power 2 or more. Okay, so it works just like crew or station, but it's called teamwork. Okay. Helicarrier Strike deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. If this spell was cast using teamwork, it deals 4 damage to that creature instead. Okay, so it's another one of those situational removal spells. It just happens to have teamwork stable to it. Hero in Training, 3 mana, 2/2 human hero. When this creature enters, draw a card. If you control another hero, you gain 2 life. Oh, that's kind of cute. It's not good, but it's cute. I like it. Okay, Invisible Woman, Sue Storm. Nice. I've always liked Invisible Woman. I thought she was a very interesting character. Obviously overshadowed by the rest of the Fantastic Four team, but she was always cool. I liked her. Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, 4 mana and a white for a 2/5 lifelink. Whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on 1 or more other heroes you control, you may create a 0/4 colorless wall creature token with Defender. Oh, that is really cool. Yeah, one of her like abilities was to create force fields to like kind of like help defend the rest of her team. So that is really really flavorful for this. I like that a lot. I'll hold down the fort while you guys bicker. Good flavor text. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's pretty cool. Yeah, whenever you buff up your team, make more walls. Pretty cool. Okay, next up is Jennifer Walters. This is a 2/3 for 1 and a white. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Okay, cool. So she's a Grand Abolisher. You can pay 3 green, white, white to transform Jennifer Walters, activate as a sorcery. Let's flip that. And it's the Sensational She-Hulk. Okay, so Jennifer Walters, the She-Hulk. She's a 6/6 with reach and trample. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Okay, so she keeps her ability. That's awesome. Whenever a creature you control is dealt damage, you may have the Sensational She-Hulk deal that much damage to any target. Do this only once each turn. Wow, that is a fantastic ability. So not only is she working as the Grand Abolisher, but she also reflects damage. That's super strong. I like that a lot. It says whenever a creature you control is dealt damage. So that includes her. So if you attack with She-Hulk and they block, and you can just reflect that damage to the opponent's face and still trample over. That's really strong. I like that a lot. That's a cool card. All right, Kree Commandos. 3 mana, 2/1, Flying Vigilance, and Prowess. Wow, okay. That's kind of cool. Not much to say about that. It's just flying, vigilance, and prowess. Luke Cage, the Power Man. 3 colorless and a white, 2/5. And it's Unbreakable Skin is his ability. Whenever Luke Cage attacks alone, he gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible until end turn. Okay, that's very basic. Luke Cage is kind of like a minor hero, so I'm not surprised that they didn't really give him a super strong card. There it is, the chase rare from the entire set, the Mind Stone. I don't know if I'll be picking up the Mind Stone or not, but it would be nice to have, just to have it. But it's pretty strong. 1 and a white, indestructible. It's a mana rock, adds white, and you can harness it by paying 5 and a white, tap, harness the Mind Stone. And once harnessed, its Infinity ability is active. And the ability is, at the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 other target non-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So, very strong ability. Being able to flicker something once a turn, every turn, is very, very strong. However, paying 6 mana to do it, and 6 mana not including the mana that you generate from the Mind Stone, because this is a tap ability, means that This is a very late game option and likely something that will only be triggered in Commander. Um, if you play this in Standard or any other format, you're likely only playing it just to ramp yourself out a little bit, which is not bad because white ramp is very weak. Having access to the Mind Stone will actually be very good for you. So I can see a lot of people running this just to have some white ramp. I mean, I personally like the Soul Stone a lot more. It has a much more powerful ability, but it's not bad. Mockingbird, Ace Agent. 2/2, double strike for 4 mana. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Mockingbird. Oh, okay. So another, pardon me, another one of those repartee abilities. It has double strike, but 4 mana, no evasion. It's pretty weak. Monica Rambeau is 3 mana for 3/3 Flying Prowess. 3 mana, 3/3 Flying Prowess is actually pretty decent on its own, but it has a transform ability. It's 2 white, red, or 2 red, white, white. Transform. Okay. And you flip it, and she becomes Photon, Living Light. Okay, first off, that art is fantastic. That is gorgeous art. Look at that. Beautiful. So she is a 4/4 flying hexproof and prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. Wow, that is actually really, really strong. So she gets bigger because of her prowess, and she makes the team bigger because of her ability. That's really cool. Yeah, so you can play that as like part of a like a spellslinger deck. That's really strong. I like that. Okay, Murdoch's Crusade. So 1 colorless and a white sorcery. It has teamwork 4. So you pay the teamwork cost by tapping up to 4 powers worth of creatures. Choose one. If this spell was cast using teamwork, choose both instead. So option 1 is exile target creature with toughness 4 or greater. And option 2 is exile target enchantment with mana value 4 or greater. Wow, that's honestly pretty good. A little situational because the guys have to have like toughness 4 or greater and mana value 4 or greater. So you do have options. I don't see both modes being too relevant at the same time. And also like toughness 4 or greater, it's good. It will deal with a lot of like mid to late game threats. The enchantment part, not a whole lot of targets for that, at least not in standard. Okay, next up, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Legendary creature, human spy hero. He's a 2/1 for only a single white mana, and his power-up is white, blue, black, red, green. So if you do it on the turn he comes down, it's only blue, black, red, green. So either way, you have to use all 5 colors to activate. So put 2 +1/+1 counters on Nick Fury. Then look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a hero, equipment, or vehicle card from among them onto the battlefield. If it's a double-faced card, you may transform it. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. That is really cool. I like that a lot. So he will look at the top 7 cards of your library, grab your favorite hero, your favorite equipment or vehicle, put them onto the table. Now let's say, because it says you can transform it, so let's say you happen to get a Hulk character, drop it in play, immediately flip it. Pretty good. That's not too bad for only 5 mana too. I mean, it has to be a powerful effect though for it to be Wooburg, because that's not like 5 colorless you're paying. You're paying 1 of each color, and not easy to assemble. Yeah, very strong ability. I like that. Okay, next up is Night Nurse, Healer of Heroes. So it's a 2/1 for 2 mana with flash and lifelink. All right, I already like this. When Night Nurse enters, choose target permanent card in your graveyard that was put there from anywhere this turn, return it to your hand. It's okay. If it returned it to play, it would be awesome and an auto include in almost any white deck. That is strong. Putting it back into your hand is still okay though. Okoye, Dora Milaje Leader. This is a 3/2 for 4 mana. When Okoye enters, create 2/1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Attacking creature tokens you control have first strike. Hey, that's pretty good. I like giving first strike to all my tokens. Origin of the Avengers. Okay, let's see what this is. So it's a saga. It's a 1 colorless and a white. First step is scry 2. Second step is you may put a hero creature card with mana value 3 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. If you don't, draw a card. Okay, so either way, you can develop board or you can draw a card. Part 3 is put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's also not bad. Part 2, for like best value, kind of wants you to have a hero in hand. But you can kind of set things up like that though, because like you can scry to make sure like you have something on top of your library, make sure you're drawing a good card next turn, and then like power up the team. So this is probably not something you want to play on turn 2, maybe turn 3 or 4 for maximum effect. Panther Pounce, 1 white mana. Target player investigates. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains flying until end of turn. Untap it. That's a good combat trick because you untap the creature, you give it flying, it gets +1 power, and you also get a clue token. That's not bad. Patriot Shield Wielder, 2/2 for 2 mana. It's 2 and tap. Another target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains hexproof until end of turn. That's not bad. It's like a bad Mother of Runes or a bad Skrelv. I mean, it's decent. I could see it definitely having applications, but needing to babysit 2 mana and this creature to give hexproof to something else, and not just that, but a hexproof that your opponent can see coming, because the Patriot has to be on the table for at least 1 full turn before you can activate this. I would rather just play a combat trick from hand, but it's not bad. Political Triumph. 1 white mana enchantment plan. Whenever a creature you control enters, scry 1 and put a plan counter on this enchantment. When the 4th plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it. Draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So like, you play it turn 1 and then just start dropping dudes on the table. Maybe play a token plan, and just like go really wide and buff up your team. Yeah, it's not bad. Quake, Agent of Shield, 3/3 for 3 mana. Seismic Takedown. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, tap target hero or target creature or land. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. Because like if you're playing like a tempo build, you just tap down your opponent's creatures and just start swinging. I mean, maybe play a couple buff spells or maybe even a removal spell to like kill a creature, tap another. That can be pretty good. Like I could see that doing really well in a white-black or white-blue tempo build. I like that. Raft Security Officer. 1 and a white, 1/3. 2 colorless and tap target creature. This ability costs 1 less to activate if it targets a creature with power 3 or less. Okay, that's pretty decent. A little decoy character. Red Guardian, Super Soldier. Okay, this is a 2/2 with flash for 3 mana. When Red Guardian enters, destroy target creature an opponent controls that dealt damage this turn. Hey, I like that. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, you don't see that effect very often. That's pretty decent. Okay, let's see this. The Sentry, Golden Guardian, 5/5 for 3 colors and a white. Okay, so it's above a raid. It says Flying Vigilance Indestructible. When the Sentry enters, target opponent creates the Void, a legendary 5/5 black horror villain creature token with flying, indestructible, and the Void attacks each combat if able. Okay, so that's pretty decent. So the Sentry is Flying Vigilance Indestructible. So you give your opponent a 5/5 black horror villain with flying and indestructible, and it has to attack every turn. So it'll attack you, you'll just block it with the Sentry, and then you'll swing in with the Sentry next turn because your guy has flying and vigilance. So you can just have the void bounce off the sentry indefinitely. Or, and hear me out here, you could unsummon the token. Easy. Just get rid of it. Unsummon it, exile it, find some way to deal with it. It's not too difficult. Sentry, pretty decent. Pretty decent card. Okay, Shield Spy Kit. 1 white mana, artifact, equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks alone, untap it and scry 1. Hey, that's not bad, honestly. I like that you get to untap the creature and scry. That's good. But only if the creature attacks alone. So that's like an exalted strategy right there. Okay. Next up is Supervillain Lockup. 2 mana, enchantment Flash. When this enchantment enters, exile target tapped creature and opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. Ooh, I like that a lot. That honestly could be a really good like sideboard option for certain decks. I like this a lot because it has Flash. You just gotta wait for your opponent to attack you with something relevant, and you just go, nope, lock him up, get him out of here. And like this can target almost anything, so long as like the creature's attacking, and it's a 2 mana exile as opposed to the usual 3 mana exile that we usually see. That's pretty good. Okay, next up, Super Soldier Serum. 1 and a white, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2, has first strike and vigilance, and is a legendary soldier in addition to its other types. Whenever enchanted creature attacks or blocks, attach any number of target equipment you control to it. That's pretty decent. So, it's 2 mana. The creature gets +2/+2, first strike, vigilance, and then whenever it attacks or blocks, you can just slap equipment onto it. That... Okay, so hear me out here. Swords. Usually, swords are a little bit too expensive to utilize because you have to pay 3 for the sword and then 2 to equip it. If you just super soldier it, you can just auto-equip whatever you need to. And you can attach any number of target equipment to it. That's really silly. I like that a lot. I might actually play that. Okay. Take up the shield. 1 and a white. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. This is a reprint. You see this in almost, I want to say like every 3rd set that comes out. I think there's like 3 versions of this in standard right now. Wakandan Drone Flock. 4 mana, 3/3 for a robot. Flying. When this creature enters, scry 2. Okay. Nothing to write home about. Web Up. 3 mana, enchantment. When this enchantment enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. Okay, it's an Oblivion Ring. White Widow, free agent. So 3 colors in a white, 2/3. When White Widow enters, choose one. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, or return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Hey, that's not bad. Pretty weak for 4 mana, but pretty good for what is it? Limited? Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, we've already seen these two though. I don't know why they showed us that again. Okay, so out of the white cards that we've seen today, what cards would I consider picking up? I would consider Supervillain Lockup, Super Soldier Serum. I would probably consider the Sentry. The Sentry is actually pretty decent. Let's see, what else would we get? Probably the Mind Stone, because I can foresee like this just being an investment in your future for your magic portfolio. Like I think all of the Infinity Stones are going to be things you're going to want to get at least one of. Let's see, what else would I pick up from this color? Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah, white definitely has an identity. It does not have a whole lot of terribly powerful cards in it. But for me, if I wanted to pick up some like some competitive cards, there are a few options here. The Sentry is probably the best creature that I saw from this color. But as far as like removal goes, Supervillain Lockup is really good. Super Soldier Serum can be good in the right deck. Probably gonna have to throw that in like a Boros or a Selesnya equipment style deck. Let's see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, just those three to four cards. Yeah, the Mind Stone, the Sentry, and Supervillain Lockup are probably the best cards out of white from this set. So that's my thoughts on white. So stay tuned for the blue cards. We'll see those next. Okay, let's get right into it. So Aerial Doombot, flying, power up, 1 blue mana, 1/1. It's 5 colorless and a blue. So put 3 +1/+1 counters in this creature. Okay, that's pretty crap. You're never going to use that ability. Aim Scientist, 3 colors and a blue, not a white. 3/3, basic land cycling 2, and when this creature enters, it connives. I like that connive is coming back as a set mechanic. That was one of the better mechanics from New Capenna. If you don't remember, connive basically works like this: you draw a card, then you discard a card. If you discarded a non-land card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So this creature will connive. You discard something that's not a land. It's a 4/4. It's not bad. Okay, next up we have Atlantean Cavalry. It's a Merfolk Soldier. 3/2 for 3 mana. Vigilance. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Honestly, that's not bad. Like, if that was like a 2/2 with Vigilance for 2 mana, that would be competitive. 3 mana's... There's better things to do at 3 mana. If that was 2, that'd be really good. Okay, Atlantis Attacks. Okay, so it's 7 mana. 7 mana. So it's 5 colorless and 2 blue. Sorcery. Teamwork 4. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may tap any number of creatures you control with total power 4 or more. Choose one. If this spell was cast using Teamwork, choose both instead. Target player creates a 6/5 blue Leviathan creature token with hexproof. Return 1 or 2 target non-land permanents to their owner's hands. Okay, so very cool effect. I like the teamwork. I like the whole Atlantis angle, but that is way too expensive. Like, if the teamwork part was like paying part of the cost of the spell, like reducing the cost by like 4, then I could see playing this. But at 7 mana for that effect, it is not worth it. If you're paying 7 mana for anything, you should be winning the game at that point. Okay, next up, Atuma, Atlantean Warlord. 3/4 for 4 mana. Other merfolk you control get +1/+1. Okay, that's awesome. There are more than enough merfolk in standard right now that you can actually play this. Whenever 1 or more merfolk you control attack a player, draw a card. Wow. Okay. Okay, so 4 mana, 3/4, buffs all your other merfolk. Whenever a merfolk, 1 or more merfolk you control attack, draw a card. So that's any amount. Yeah. Okay, wait. Sorry. Give me a moment here. It's 1 or more. So that draw is only going to trigger once. It's not going to trigger for every one that you attack with. Okay. I got a little excited there. He's not that good. 4 mana for a 3/4, buffs your other guys. It's okay. It's no Lord of Atlantis, but it's decent. It's decent. Okay. Bold Biochemist. 1 and a blue for a 1/3. Power up of 5 and a blue. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature and draw 2 cards. Again, too damn expensive. All these power up abilities are just too expensive. Okay. Bruce Banner. 1 blue mana for a legendary human scientist hero. It's a 1/1. You can pay double X, tap, draw X cards, activate as a sorcerer. That's pretty sweet. Or you could pay 2 colorless, double red, double green, transform Bruce Banner. And he becomes the big, nasty monster. The Incredible Hulk. 8/8. Reach, trample, enrage. Whenever the Incredible Hulk is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on him. If he's attacking, untap him, and there's an additional combat phase after this. Let me read that again. Whenever the Incredible Hulk is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on him. If he's attacking, untap him and then attack again. So if anything blocks this, he gets bigger, he untaps, and he gives you an additional combat. So he tramples through, destroys your blocker, and then if he's still alive, which he likely will be because he's an 8/8, he gets to attack again. And then if you choose to block a second time, he gets to do it again. Only now he's 9 power. Only now he's 10 power. This creature might as well just read unblockable, because no one's going to block this. Because like they're just going to keep getting pounded into the dirt. Yeah, the Hulk is very strong. Okay, Depower. 2 colorless and a blue. Instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets an attacking creature. Target creature gets -4/-0 until a turn and draw a card. Okay, it's not bad. For if you play it when you're being attacked, so it's actually only 1 blue mana. So you can shrink down an opposing creature and draw a card. It's not bad. It's a decent combat trick. It doesn't remove the creature, but it depowers it for a turn. Echo, Perceptive Prodigy. So 1/4 for 3. Vigilance. 1 tap, copy target activated or triggered ability you control from a creature source. You may choose new targets for the copy. Okay, that's actually kind of cool. So like, let's say for example, you have Overlord of the Boiler Bilges, for example. Red creature, when it comes in or attacks, deal 4 damage to any target. So it'll come in or attack, do the trigger, and you can just copy it, do 8 damage instead. Or any of the other kinds of triggers that you can think of. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that you can just choose whichever one you want to copy when there's like really no limitations. That's pretty decent. Falcon, Winged Wonder, 3/4 for 5 mana, flying, Avian Telepathy. When Falcon enters, create Redwing, a legendary 1/1 blue bird scout creature with flying, and whenever Redwing attacks, reveal 1. Hey, I like that. That's pretty decent. It's a little underpowered for 5 mana, but it's pretty cool. Okay. Falcon's Wing Harness, 1 and a blue. Artifact equipment. Whenever this equipment enters, attach it to target creature you control. Okay, that's awesome. So you get a free equip with it. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, flying, and ward 1. Not bad. And equip of 3. Equip cost is pretty heavy, but you do get to equip it for free the first time that you play it. Okay. Frozen in Ice, 2 and a blue. Enchant creature aura. When this aura enters, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and can't become untapped. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Every set needs to have one of these. We are missing some images here, so I think we might need to reload. Give me a second here. Loading, loading, loading. Okay, let's scroll on down and see if those got loaded. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, we're back. Sweet. Futurist Forge. 1 and a blue. When this artifact enters, draw a card. 3 blue, sacrifice this artifact, draw 2 cards. Hey, I like that. Like for a common, and like you say you're playing in an artifact deck that like an Artifacts Matters deck, this is actually pretty decent. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Cryogen Relic. That's pretty good. Really good art on that too. Okay. Let's see. Giant-sized flying ant. Okay, that's pretty funny. All right, 3 and a blue, 3/2, flash flying. When this creature enters, choose 1. Tap target non-land permanent. Untap target non-land permanent. Okay, that's decent. There's another version of this card that costs 1 less and is a 2/2 that does the exact same thing. It was a fairy from Lorwyn Eclipsed. So just one of the copycat kind of cards in this set. Okay, Hydraulic Helper. 2/3, Defender for 2 mana. Tap, add blue. This mana can't be spent to cast a non-artifact spell. Okay, so looks like blue is firmly in the artifacts game again. So, I am Iron Man. 2 in a blue, instant. Until end of turn, target artifact or creature becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/4 and gains flying. Draw a card. Okay, cool. So you suit up an artifact token. Like you have uh, a clue token on the table, and you go, you are now Iron Man, and you get to draw a card. So this card replaces itself. So in terms of other cards that do this exact same effect, there's like always a version of this card in every set. This is actually a pretty decent version of it. I like this. I especially like it because you draw a card. Iron Lad, Diverging Destiny. 2/2 for 3 mana. Flying Vigilance. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Tap, reveal the top card of the library. If it's an artifact card, draw a card. That's not bad. Especially if you're building really heavily into the artifact theme, this is actually pretty decent and can be a role player for you. Ironheart, Clever Champion, 5 mana. That's pretty expensive. 3/4, Improvise. Your artifacts can help cast this spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for 1. Okay, that's decent. So you can tap a bunch of like clue tokens or whatever, or food tokens to get this on the table. That's pretty decent. Flying, non-creature spells you cast have Improvise. Oh, okay. That's actually really solid. Yeah, so this just spreads the Improvise ability to all of your other cards. I like that. Justice, Vance Astorovic. 2 in a blue, 2/2, flying. When Justice enters, return up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent to its owner's hand. Okay, so it's a flying mana war. That's pretty good. Non-land, non-token. It's pretty specific, but in most cases, this is kind of a good tempo play for you, especially because it has flying. I wish it had flash, but beggars can't be choosers. Whenever another non-land permanent you control is returned to its owner's hand, put a +1/+1 counter to this. That's why it doesn't have flash, because it is a self-bounce card. Yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah. Kang the Conqueror. 4/5, 4 mana, flying, and power up. The power up is silly expensive. It's 5 colorless and triple blue. Put a +1/+1 counter on Kang. Take an extra turn after this one. During that turn, power-up abilities can't be activated, obviously, because you would just take infinite turns at that point. Okay, so this might be one of the few instances of power-up that could actually see play in Commander, not in Standard. Way too expensive still. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you were to play Kang and activate it immediately, you would still be paying 8 mana. That is so much mana for just a Time Warp. Because, like, I don't know if you remember Time Warp or not. Time Warp only costs 5 mana. Should not cast 8. But pretty decent. It's a decent card. I don't think I would play it, though. It's a little too expensive for me. Kid Loki. 1 blue mana. 1/1. Each creature you control that you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on this turn has hexproof. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Kid Loki. Oh, that's pretty decent. Okay, yeah, so if Kid Loki's the only creature that you're worried about, you just draw extra cards and make Loki bigger and hexproof. Leader, Super Genius. 4 mana for a 1/3. If a creature you control would connive, instead you draw a card, then that creature connives. Okay, I love that immediately. That's actually really good. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control connives. Okay, that's awesome. It's like you go to combat, you don't even have to attack with the creature. It's like you just play Leader and he just starts drawing you tons of cards. That's actually really good. I like that. Okay, Loki, God of Mischief. This is a 2/1 for 2 mana. Whenever a player or permanent becomes the target of an ability you control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. That is really, really good. Whenever a player or permanent, let's say you target your opponent with a Duress or with a Bolt, you can play this in a really tight, like burn style deck and just burn, draw a card. Refill your hand. Pass the turn. Burn them on your opponent's turn. Refill your hand. Keep drawing cards. Keep burning your opponent. Really, really cool card. And the fact that it's a 2/1 for only 2 mana makes this really, really good. I like it. Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards. 2/4 with reach, obviously, for 4 mana. Whenever one or more tokens you control enter, you may draw a card. Okay, so this is a blue creature that cares about tokens. So, what kind of tokens are we talking about? Are we talking creature tokens? Are we talking like artifact tokens, like clue tokens or food tokens? We're probably thinking of those. Okay, are we here? Okay, so we are seeming to have a problem with some of our cards loading. There we go. Okay. Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. 2 in a blue, 1/4, Vigilance Reach. You have no maximum hand size. I like that already. Embiggen Fist. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, draw a card. Until end of turn, Miss Marvel gains Miss Marvel's base powers equal to the number of cards in your hand. Wow. Okay, that's cool. So it's whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control. Okay, so you do gotta throw a card out of your hand, but that card gets replenished immediately. And then she gets a lot of power. And she's a vigilance and reach. That has a lot of implications. I like that card a lot. That's really good. Especially being able to just draw cards when you cast spells. Really strong. All right. Multiversal Incursion. 5 colorless and 2 blue. Sorcery. For each non-token creature you control, create a token that's a copy of that creature except it isn't legendary. Oh, wow. That can get out of hand really fast. That's really good. But really expensive. Yeah. I don't know if this is the kind of card that you want to play to like end the game or like set up ending the game. Like if like you have a way to give all your creatures haste, that would be super sweet. But if you're not going to win the game like this turn, I don't know if you want to play that. Okay. Namor, the Submariner. 1 colorless, double blue, star 4. Flying. Namor's power is equal to the number of merfolk you control. Okay, so we have another merfolk lord here. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with 1 or more blue mana symbols in its mana cost, create that many 1/1 blue merfolk creature tokens. Oh my god. Okay, I'm getting this. I have really wanted to build blue-white merfolk, and that is a card that can push it over the edge. That's fantastic. Yeah. We're going to be picking up a couple copies of Namor. That's silly. All right. Pim Particles. 1 blue mana. Target creature gains vigilance until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. I like that. Draw a card. I like that you draw a card off. Cantrips are always my favorite kinds of cards. Rewrite history. Okay. So 2 colorless and a blue. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control become tapped, draw a card. Then discard a card and put a plan counter on this enchantment. So let's reread that again. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control become tapped, draw a card. Then discard a card. Okay. When the 4th plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it. When you do, return up to 2 target instant and or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, that's pretty decent. It's pretty slow, but it's kind of cool. Like, I would probably not play that if I wasn't like on like a good like creature plan. Like I could see playing this in maybe like I was saying, like a Merfolk deck, because you're gonna have like a lot of creatures. But also in that case, is like your critical mass of like instants and sorcery is probably not going to be that great if you're playing a heavy creature build. I mean, it can have its implications, but I'm thinking more in terms of like a Spellslinger style deck, in which case there are probably better things to do with your mana. Yeah. It's interesting, but I don't know if I would play that. Secret Invasion. 1 colorless, double blue. Enchant creature you control. When this aura enters, exile up to 1 target creature other than enchanted creature until this aura leaves the battlefield. Enchanted creature becomes a copy of that creature until this aura leaves the battlefield. Enchanted creature has ward 2. Okay. This is actually stupid good. And it's good because it's basically duplicant, but for half the mana. So if you don't remember, Duplicant was a 2/6 artifact creature for I think like 6 mana. And when it would come into play, it would imprint another creature in play. So basically you would exile one of your opponent's creatures, and the Duplicant would like get like all of the abilities of the creature that you nuked. This is 3 mana. It does require that you have another creature in play. So this can get interacted with, like an opponent can destroy the creature that you enchant before this lands. But if this sticks, you can just nuke your opponent's best creature, like your opponent's like Ouroboros or your opponent's the Sentry or anything like that, and just make your guy that. That's pretty sweet. It's removal and it's copying your opponent's best creature at the same time. I would definitely play this card. Okay. Shield Deployment Drone. 2 colors and a blue, 2/2, robot. Flying. When this creature enters, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. So for 3 mana, you get a 2/2 flyer and a 1/1 on the ground. That's not bad. Okay, Shield Flying Car. 3/3 for 3, flash flying. When this vehicle enters, exile up to 1 target creature you control. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Oh, that's not bad. So you get to flicker something, save it from removal, and also get a 3/3 flying for your troubles. That's not bad. All right, Shuri, Wakandan Inventor. 2/1 for 2 mana. It is an artifact spells you cast, costs 1 less to cast. Okay, so she's discounting your artifacts. 1 tap, target artifact you control becomes a copy of a second target artifact you control until end of turn, except it isn't legendary. That's awesome. Yeah, so you can have a really powerful artifact on the table and then make like a stupid token artifact a copy of it. That could be really strong. It is only until end of turn though, so you're gonna want to make use of it immediately. Stature Size Shifter. Okay, so it's a blue mana 1/1. Stature can't be blocked if her power is 1 or less. Power up X blue blue. Put X +1/+1 counters on Stature. Okay, so you want to attack and then power up after she has gotten past the blocker step and just swing for a bunch. That could be good. Super Intelligence, blue mana, enchant creature. At the beginning of the upkeep of enchanted creature's controller, that player draws a card. Wow. Okay, that's actually super good. Yeah, so like say for example, you play a flash creature on your opponent's turn, and don't give your opponent an opportunity to like react, because like say you play a flash creature at the end of your opponent's turn after they've tapped out, and then on your turn you can safely enchant with super intelligence and then just start drawing cards every turn after from there on out. That's pretty decent. It doesn't do anything the turn you play it, unfortunately, but after that, that's just card advantage. Like the moment it draws you more than 1 card, that's just straight up profit. It's pretty good. And for only 1 blue mana, I like that a lot. Super Suit, 1 and a blue, flash equipment. When this equipment enters, attach it to target creature you control, untap that creature. Equipped creature gets +1/+2. Yeah, nothing special about that. It's cute. I do like that it auto equips on cast. That's pretty good. All right, come on. Show me the cards. Show me what you got. This is one thing I don't like about this site, is sometimes things just don't load on time. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here's a reprint. Thirst for Knowledge is a really good reprint, by the way. So it's draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. So this card originally printed in Mirrodin, another set famous for having a lot of artifacts. So I'm going to imagine there's going to be at least a few artifacts in this set. So next up is Tony Stark. We all know him. He's a 1/3 for 2 mana. One tap, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Okay, so he's an impulse for artifacts. Not bad. Transform Tony Stark for 4 colorless, a blue, and a red. Let's see what that is. The Invincible Iron Man. 5/5, Flying Haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may put an artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's an equipment, attach it to the Invincible Iron Man. Wow, that's pretty good. At the beginning of the combat, put an artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield, and then auto-equip. That's a lot of tempo. I like that a lot. Really expensive, but that's decent. Trickster's Stratagem. 3 colorless and a blue. The owner of target creature and opponent controls puts it into the library second from the top or on the bottom. Then up to 1 target creature you control connives. Okay, this card is bad because this is sorcery. This card should be an instant because it's really expensive. Sure, it takes something off the table. It is removal, but it is way too expensive. And sorcerer. Too slow, too expensive. It's bad. Moving on. We say the nay. Okay, this is a counterspell. 1 and a blue. Teamwork 2. Instant Arcane. I have not seen that in a while. That is a keyword from Kamigawa, because like there was a mechanic in the original Kamigawa called Splice onto Arcane. If you had a card with Splice and another card with like the subtext of Arcane like that, you could, as you're casting it, splice the effect of a card with Splice into Arcane onto the other card so you can get the effect of both. And you would keep the splice card in your hand so you can cast it again later. It was a way to like combine card effects. It was a pretty decent mechanic. I liked it. I liked it personally because I was able to reutilize removal spells pretty easily. Okay, what's this do? Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. Counter that spell unless its controller pays 4 instead, if the spell was cast using teamwork. Okay, that's just bad. Yeah, this is a bad counter spell. I think I would rather just play any other counter spell. It's not very good. Other cards that do similar effects are Dispelling Breath, but that kind of requires you to play with dragons. It's like you can play this with other creature types, but you're only counting for 2 or 4. I think I would, over this, I personally would probably play Ghostly Interference or Spectral Interference, because it has spree and you can do other things with it. This just counter spells. So it's okay at best, but you kind of have to build for it. And most like spells that play a lot of counter spells don't play a whole lot of creatures. Okay. Wiccan, Rising Magician. So it's a 4/4 for 5 mana. Flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile another target non-land, non-token permanent. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, so this will flicker things when you cast spells. Not bad. Too expensive. And then we have the Wondrous Wasp. 2/1, flash flying for 2 mana. Wasp's Sting. When the Wondrous Wasp enters, tap up to 1 target creature. It loses all abilities for as long as the Wondrous Wasp remains on the battlefield. That's not bad. I like that it has flash. I like that it has flying because it gives it evasion. I think this would be a decent replacement for Flood Pit's Drowner once Flood Pit's Drowner rotates out of standard. Currently, I would rather play the Flood Pit's Drowner because it taps a creature and keeps it tapped for an extra turn. But this is not a bad replacement for that. And we already saw Mr. Fantastic. Okay, yeah, so that is all of our blue cards from the new Marvel set. Of the cards I would consider purchasing from this color, even though I just got done shitty on it, the Wondrous Wasp is actually a pretty decent card, so I would probably go with that. Aside from that, I might want to pick up a few copies of Thirst for Knowledge just to have it in case I want to build an artifact deck later. Let's see. What else would I want to pick up? Secret Invasion, definitely. That is a really cool removal spell. I like that. Let's see. Namor, definitely, because I want to build Merfolk. So I definitely get that. Let's see. Other options. I Am Iron Man is pretty cool, and you can probably pick up a few of those really cheap. Um, Pretty decent for a transformation spell. Let's see what else we got here. Atuma could be interesting. Atuma does play into uh Namor's ability pretty easily because it has 2 blue pips in the casting cost. So I might consider getting a couple of those. And I think that might be it actually. Yeah. Yeah, not a whole lot of great stuff from blue here. I would consider Atuma. I would definitely consider where is it? Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion actually is probably a definite from me. I really like this card. And I would consider Namor, wherever he is. Where did he go? Where'd you go, Namor? Yeah. Namor, definitely picking that up. Yeah, so those are our considerations from blue in this upcoming set. So again, I probably will not be picking up any sealed product from this set, but I will pick up a handful of singles that I feel that I would want to build with. So keep your eyes open. I'm going to be doing black next, so I'll see you in the next video. Okay, let's get into it. So we're looking at the black cards from Marvel now. Let's get into it with Agents of Hydra up first. 2 mana for a 1/1 human spy villain. When this creature dies, create a 2/1 black villain creature token with menace. That's very thematic because you knock off one head of the Hydra, 2 more pop up. So replacing 1 power with 2 power and giving it menace, effectively making it so they're like 2/1/1s, so to speak. So that's a pretty cool way to represent like the heads of a Hydra without it like actually being a Hydra. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Next up, Arnim Zola, Biofanatic, 2/3 artifact creature for 3 mana. Pay 3 and tap, create a tapped 2/1 black villain creature token with menace. Activate only if there are 2 or more creature cards in your graveyard. That's interesting. A little slow. Doesn't have any keywords or anything else that it's doing. I mean, not really good. I can see you playing this in like a deadlocked limited game where you need to generate a whole lot of extra bodies. This could definitely help you break a stalemate, but that's about the only implication I can think of for that. Next up, Baron Helmet Zemo. He is a 3 mana, 3/3. It's triple black, so this is like a mono black card. Legendary creature, human noble villain. Whenever you cast a black spell from your hand, Baron Helmet Zemo connives. That's awesome. I love connive. Boast. So boast happens when you attack. Exile any number of black cards from your graveyard with 15 or more black mana symbols among their mana costs. Copy those exiled cards. You may cast up to 3 of the copies without paying a mana cost. See, I like that. I really like that ability. It kind of reminds me of Hervek from Thunder Junction. The only thing with this is like you have to be really, really deep in black. You pretty much need to be mono black to pull this one off. And playing a lot of cards that are specifically like multiple black pips in their casting cost. So cards that only have like a single black in it, very splashable cards, are going to be cards you want to put into your deck. So Baron Helmet Zemo, very powerful ability, just very limited in scope. Okay, Baron Strucker, Hydra Overlord. I think there's something wrong with the Strucker. We got 2/2 for 3 mana. Villain spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That's pretty awesome. Whenever another villain you control enters, you may have it connive. Do this only once each turn. That's pretty sweet. I like Connive. Connive is a really good ability from says Streets of New Capenna. That was very good. So this guy makes your villains cheaper and makes them better when they come in. So pretty cool. All right, what's up next? Black Widow Super Spy. 2 mana for 2/1 with Menace. Whenever Black Widow deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may put a +1/+1 counter on Black Widow. If you don't, you may cast the exiled non-land card until end of turn, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. So I kind of want to think of this as like a fixed Tiny Bones, because like when you hit with Tiny Bones, you don't always get to actually cast the spell, and that like trigger is kind of wasted. With this, if you don't have the mana to cast the spell, you can still get a +1 counter on Black Widow. So I think this is actually a pretty solid card. I like that. And it's a 2/1 with Menace for only 2 mana. Pretty nice. Construct a Cosmic Cube. 2 in black, Enchantment Plan. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/1 black villain creature token with Menace and put a plan counter on this enchantment. When the 7th plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it. When you do, you control target opponent during their next turn. So it's a Mindslaver. It's a Mindslaver that generates dudes. Okay, so let's think about this real quick. I both like and dislike this card. I like it because once it's out and you start drawing a bunch of extra cards, let's say, for example, you're playing like Dimir. If you're playing Dimir, that trigger will be very easy to pull off because you can draw cards on your turn, draw cards on your opponent's turn, and after about 7 or so turns, you can actually pull this off. But the thing is like, it's difficult to control when the 7th counter is going to go on it, because you're not always going to have like the most effective way to put counters on your cube. So you could potentially pop the cube during a turn where it's not exactly pivotal for you to be controlling your opponent. I mean, controlling your opponent is always good. I mean, Mindslaver is an amazing card. But Mindslaver gives you a much more control over when you control your opponent than this one does. So I like what it does. I like what it's trying to do. I don't think it's going to be good enough, though. I hope I'm wrong. All right, next up, Crossbones Malicious Mercenary. Okay, Crossbones Malicious Mercenary. Got it. 4 mana, 3/3, Death Touch. Whenever another villain you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Crossbones. He deals 2 damage to each opponent. This ability triggers only once each turn. Hey, that's pretty good. That's actually really good. So 4 mana, so 3/3, Death Touch, kills whatever he touches. Whenever you play anything else that has the villain tag on it, and there's a lot of villains in this set, he shocks the opponent and gets bigger. That's pretty solid. I think it may be possible to build a decent deck around that. Cruel Alliance. 3 mana, sorcery, teamwork 2. So when you cast this, tap creatures with power 2 or greater to get the teamwork. Exile target creature with mana value 3 or less. If the spell was cast using teamwork, instead exile target creature and you gain 3 life. Hey, that's really easy to pull off. You just tap like one of like the Hydra tokens or Black Widow or something like that and get rid of anything and gain life. Pretty decent. I don't think you'll see play though. I mean, it's a pretty cool card. Decent for limited, as usually in limited removal is at a premium. But in standard, there's just so many better ways to deal with creatures, especially in black. So probably going to skip on that one. Dark Deed. 1 in a black. Target creature gets a -4/-4 until end of turn. Ooh, that's pretty decent. But again, usually in black with removal, if you're paying 2 mana to kill a creature, it's usually unconditional kill, not -4/-4. Pretty decent though. It can kill a lot of things. See, Decoy Ploy. This is 1 and a black. Instant, choose one or both. Return target villain card from your graveyard to your hand, or return target hero card from your graveyard to your hand, or both. If you're playing villains and heroes, you can do both. That's pretty cool. Dr. Doom. All right, Doctor, what you got for me? We are 3/3 for 6 mana. That's a lot. When Dr. Doom enters, create 2 3/3 colorless robot villain artifact creature tokens named Doombot. Okay, so you're paying 6 mana for 9 total power and toughness across 3 cards. That's pretty decent. As long as you control an artifact, creature, or a plan, Doctor Doom has indestructible. Okay, that makes it even better. At the beginning of your end step, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Okay, that is actually pretty decent. So 6 mana, he comes in, he makes Doombots that come in with him. You can then utilize those Doombots as attackers, blockers, sacrifice fodder, whatever you want. But as long as you have them, or at least one of them, he's indestructible. And he is a literal Phyrexian Arena on a 3/3 body. That's not bad. I'm curious if 6 mana is like what people want to be paying for this kind of effect. I'm going to assume not. I mean, there's, again, like in black, in the stuff that we already have in standard, there's just better things to be doing with your mana. But it is a pretty cool card and very thematic. I like it. Okay, here we have Doom Reigns Supreme. 1 and a black, enchantment plan. Whenever a villain you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Put a plan counter on this enchantment. Okay, that's pretty cool. When the 5th plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it. When you do, target opponent exiles the top 5 cards of their library. You may cast up to 2 spells from among the exiled cards without paying their mana costs. That is actually really good. So it's only 2 mana, so very minimal investment on this enchantment. And it does stuff when you are playing out your plan. Like, you're obviously going to be on the villain plan with this kind of deck. When they come into play, you drain your opponent, and once you get to 5, you get to pop this and play 2 cards from your opponent. It's pretty solid. And at only 2 mana, I would definitely play this card for sure. Oh, we got some cards that still need load. There they are. Electra, Daughter of the Hand. 4 mana, 3/3, human ninja villain. It has a sneak cost of 1 and 2 black. So it's basically ninjutsu. When Electra enters, destroy target creature an opponent controls with power 3 or less. Hey, that's actually really good. That's actually really good. I mean, sure, she doesn't kill anything, but at the cost of only 3 mana, or 4 if you just straight up cast her, and on a 3/3 body, that's actually really good. I think I would actually play that. Okay. Grim Reaper, Lethal Legionnaire. 4 mana, 3/4, human villain. Whenever Grim Reaper attacks, you may pay 4. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking with a finality counter on it. Damn, that's actually really strong. So you only pay 4. So you basically, when he attacks, you can cast a free Zombify, and the creature comes in immediately and is already attacking. That is really strong. I like that a lot. Really good card. And it's uncommon, so it's pretty easy to get. Hour of Defeat is next. 4 mana. Destroy target creature, surveil 1. Garbage removal spell. Don't even worry about it. Hydra Infiltration. 4 mana, enchantment. When this enchantment enters, target opponent discards 2 cards. Okay, I already like it. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, so the card's kind of garbage because it's 4 mana. I like that you can make someone discard cards when it comes in, but the other effect really isn't worth dumping the mana into. I think I'd rather just play something else that makes them discard cards. Hydra Troopers. 3 mana, 3/2. When this creature enters, create a tapped 2/1 black villain creature token with menace if there are 2 or more creature cards in your graveyard. Otherwise, mill 2 cards. That's pretty good. I mean, for 3 mana, for 3/2, if you've been like playing a sacrifice strategy or like maybe even a self-mill strategy to get some dudes in the yard, this guy comes in with a lot of power. It's a 5/4 worth of power for only 3 mana, and one of them has menace. That's pretty good. I like it. Kingpin's Enforcers. So we got some mafia boys here. 3 mana, 2/3 lifelink. To pay 2 a black, sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw a card. Garbage. Claw, Sonic Subjugator. 3 mana, 2/2, Sonic Attack. When Claw enters, target player reveals a number of cards from their hand equal to 1 plus the number of creature cards in your graveyard. You choose one of them. That player discards that card. Okay, so he comes in with a coerce. That's all right. I do like that they're leaning into this creature cards in the graveyard matters kind of game plan, because I really enjoy like self mill and sacrifice strategies. So this is a mechanic that I can definitely get my teeth into. Okay. Next we have Madame Mask. 4 colorless, 1 black mana. 3/2. When Madame Mask enters, she connives. Right. Awesome. You love the connive. Another thing, the connive mechanic plays directly into these graveyard matters synergies. Love it. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/1 black villain creature with token with menace. Okay, so she creates hydras. That's really cool. I mean, it's really expensive, but it's a cool effect. The Masters of Evil. Okay. I gotta remind myself, this is comic book stuff. So a card titled The Masters of Evil, I guess. Okay, 6 mana, 5/6. Other villains you control get +2/+1. Okay, that's silly. +2/+1. That's funny. Pay a colorless and a black. Discard this card. Search your library for a plan card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle. So it's a tutor for plans. Like that's going to be the most reasonable reason to play that. Good, like maybe late game, and that's an extreme maybe. You can cast it for its full cost, or honestly, probably just discard this, go get a plan, and then reanimate it with Grim Reaper. I mean, that's a potential line. Modok, 3 colorless, double black, 2/2, flying lifelink, mental organism, pay 3 life. Modok connives, activate only during your turn. Okay, so you can pay 3 life to force a connive. I've seen worse things. Designed only for killing. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-. Ooh, it has an engineered plague on it. I love that. That would make this card playable. Like, I wouldn't even bother with the connive part. Like, if this first paragraph didn't exist on the card, I would still play it. A 2/2 flying lifelink that just shrinks your opponent's cards by 1 for as long as it's on the table is so strong. 5 mana is a lot to invest in this effect, though. Moonstone, Harsh Mistress, 4 mana, 2/4, flying. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Ooh, I like that. Discard cards and then just basically give all your stuff madness. That's pretty good. Ninja of the Hand, 3 mana, 2/2, Death Touch. Power up, 4 and a black. Each opponent discards a card. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It's alright. I really don't like the power up mechanic. It's so mana intensive. I mean, I'm yet to see a single power up card that I would actually want to play. Right? Do you want to load? There we go. Project Deathlock Soldier. 1 black mana, artifact creature, zombie soldier, 1/2. Pay 2 and a black, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so it's reassembling skeleton. That's all it is. Red Room Recruit. 1 and a black, 1/2. When this creature enters, it connives. Oh, okay. It's decent. Not everything has to be super powerful. Robot Domination. 3 and a black. Enchantment Plan. Whenever 1 or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card, lose a life, and put a plan counter on this enchantment. When the third plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it and create 3 2/2 colorless robot villain artifact creature tokens. That's kind of cool. A bit on the weak side, but it's kind of cool. Ronin, Shadow Stalker. 3 mana, 3/3. Pay 2 life, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast equipment spells or activate equip abilities. Activate only once each turn. Tap, sacrifice an equipment attached to Ronin. Target creature gets -4/-4 till in a turn. Okay. That's pretty cool. I like having a creature that can just kill other creatures outright, but I don't like having to play into equipment to make it happen. It's like equipment is always a losing strategy. I don't like equipment. Unless it's Skull Clamp. Then we can talk. Okay, Roxon Brutes. What is this? Human Berserker Villain, 5 mana, 4/4, Menace. When you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and it has basic land cycling. Alright, that's pretty cool. The throwaway common. Stolen Stark Tech. 1 and a black, flash, equipment. When this equipment enters, attach it to target creature you control. That creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Oh, okay. I like that because it's kind of a combat trick to give a creature indestructible. And has flash, so that's pretty cool. Super Scroll. Oh boy, here we go. 4/5, flying, legendary creature. 4 mana. 3 black pips though, so you can play this with Zemu. Flying. Pay 2 and a white, create a 0/4 colorless wall. Okay, so that's Sue Storm's ability. Pay 3 and a green, Super Scroll gets +4/+4 to end a turn. 4 and a red, deals 4 damage to target creature. Or 5 and a blue, target player draws 4 cards. Okay, so very cool card. Very cool flavor. If you notice, all of the abilities on here are abilities from other members of the Fantastic Four, and everyone has 4 in the ability. 0/4, +4/+4, 4 damage, or draws 4 cards. That's peak flavor right there. Really cool. Okay, next up, Swordsman Sharp Scoundrel. 2 mana for a 2/2. Whenever another villain you control enters, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to target creature you control. Okay, that's a good ability. Too bad you have to play into villains for that, though. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, it connives. Okay, it's decent. It's a nice little role-playing card. Thunderbolt's Conspiracy. Okay, what's this? We got 4 mana. Flash enchantment. Whenever a villain you control dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a finality counter on it. That creature is a hero in addition to its other types. Oh, okay. So whenever a villain dies, it comes back as a hero. That's actually kind of good. For 4 mana, you played it flash. So you flash it when someone kills your stuff. The only thing is you have to be in a villain's plan. But let's say, for example, your opponent is about to play Day of Judgment or something. You can flash that in. All of your villains are going to die, sure. But they then come back as heroes. That doesn't really matter too much. What matters is you basically blanked your opponent's board wipe, and that's pretty cool. Okay, let's see what's next. Too Evil to Stay Dead. 3 mana, sorcery, teamwork 4. Choose target creature card in your graveyard with mana value 4 or less. If the spell was cast using teamwork, instead choose target creature card in your graveyard. Return the chosen card to the battlefield. Okay. This is really good, and I'll tell you why it is. It's because the Teamwork 4 allows you to print a reanimate spell that only costs 3 mana. This is really strong. So you play this in a deck that already has like other creatures that it wants to be playing. Like maybe you have like Llanowar Elves out, or you have the 2/4 elf that allows you to pitch a card to go get another card. Like you just get enough power onto the table, and you can just get any card back from your graveyard onto the table for only 3 mana. That is a really strong reanimation spell. I think we're going to see some decks trying to utilize that. Okay, Unliving Legionnaire is next. We have 3 and a black for a 3/2 flying vampire villain. Power up, 5 and double black, return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature. Okay, way too expensive, never going to see play. Visions of Villainy, 3 mana, instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast if you control a villain. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Oh, it's Sign in Blood. Okay, You could just remove this first line of text and drop this mana cost by 1, and you have a Sign in Blood. Easy. Whiplash, Vengeful Engineer. So 1 black mana for a 2/2. Whiplash enters tapped. Whenever Whiplash attacks, if he's equipped, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of equipment attached to him. So load the boy up, and just go to town. that's pretty funny. I like that. Okay, next up is Widow's Bite. 1 and a black, instant teamwork 3. Choose one. If this spell was cast using teamwork, choose both. Target creature gains death touch until end of turn. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Hey, that's actually pretty decent. Like, the mana cost and teamwork 3, like, it can see some use, but like tapping out 3 power, you're kind of at like a tempo disadvantage with a card like this. No, I could see doing it. Let's say like you're a blocker and you block with creatures and then you tap the creature that you want to give death touch to after it's been chosen as a blocker to activate the teamwork. You can definitely do something there, but I don't know. It seems clunky to me. Yellow Jacket, Heartless Marauder. 1/2, flying. Oh, 2 mana. Whenever another villain you control enters, Yellow Jacket gets +1/+0 and lifelink until end of turn. No. I'd rather play something else. And then there's Baron Strucker again. Okay. Oh, and Moonstone. Okay, so yes, that's all of the black cards in today's list. So let's take a look here and see what we would actually want to invest in. What kind of singles would we buy from this color here? Let's see. Thunderbolt's Conspiracy could see some use. I do like Too Evil to Stay Dead. I would probably pick up a few copies of Too Evil to Stay Dead because that's a pretty cool effect. Let's see. Ronin's interesting, but you really have to play into the equipment strategy, which I do not like. MODOK is cool, but he's a little too expensive. Hour of Defeat's too expensive. Electra might see some play. She's actually pretty cool. Same thing with the Grim Reaper. I like Grim Reaper, but Grim Reaper needs to be on the table long enough to attack to actually use his ability. Decoy Plan is pretty cool. Doctor Doom is actually pretty cool. Construct a Cube has application. Black Widow Super Spy is probably one I would actually buy. Simply because it's a really good at that mana cost. Yeah. It looks like black kind of got the shaft in this set. It's like there's some things that are pretty cool and you can see a lot of commander play, but as far as like standards concerned, I think it's just Black Widow. It's like as sad as that is, it really feels like it's just Black Widow. I mean, like cards like Dark Deed, they're a better removal in standard. Doom Reign Supreme could see some applications. Elektra's kind of cool. And she is a ninja, so that's pretty relevant. Yeah. I think it's really just Black Widow. That's it. Well, that is a little disappointing, but hey, not every set, and every color in every set, it can be fantastic. So that's what we have for black today. So stay tuned because we're gonna be looking at the red cards next. Okay, so now we're taking a look at the red cards in Marvel. Let's see if there's anything here worth picking up. So we start with Avengers Disassembled. 3 mana sorcery. Choose one or both. Avengers Disassembled deals 3 damage to each creature, or destroy target land. Its controller may search the library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle. That's actually really good. Only 3 mana. It's either a Slag Storm for creatures, or destroy any like really problematic land. That's really good. I like that a lot. Yeah, I might actually pick up a few of those. That's pretty strong. Blazing Crescendo. 1 in a red. Instant. Target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn. Exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, end of next turn, you may play that card. That's not bad. +3/+1, and you get to impulse draw. That's not terrible. Crimson Operative. It's an artifact creature human villain. 4 mana, 3/2, prowess. When this creature enters, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. All right, already seen a lot of impulse draw cards. So Death to Our Enemies is next. We have 3 mana, Enchantment Plan. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a tapped treasure token and put a plan counter on this enchantment. That's already pretty decent. When the 4th plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it. When you do, it deals 7 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. Hold up. It deals 7 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. This can go face. That's 7 damage face. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a tapped treasure token and put a plan counter on it. This only needs 4 counters. You play 4 like tiny little like bolts or draw spells and just bam, 7 to your face. I'm definitely picking that up. That is actually probably going into my my Izzet deck. That is stupidly strong for an uncommon. Because like the thing that you put into consideration here is you can put multiple counters on it per turn. It's just whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a tapped treasure token. So that's like if you play a counter spell, you play an unsummon, you play a lightning bolt, you play opt or sleight of hand for crying out loud, and then you just go boom, 7 damage to your face. That is so strong. Oh man. And it makes treasure tokens. I mean, come on. Okay, let's check this out. Evil's Thrall. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. If you control a villain with greater mana value than that creature, gain control of that creature until the end of your next turn instead. Untap that creature, it gains haste till end turn. So that is our threaten effect of the set, and that is one of the most powerful threatens I've seen in a long time. Being able to keep the creature for up to 2 turns is fantastic. Okay, next up we have Fin Fang Foom. This is a 4 mana 3/5 alien dragon. That's an interesting type line. Flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets an artifact or land, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Put 2+. Hold up. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets an artifact or land, copy. You may choose new targets for the copy. Put 2++ counters up. Okay, he gets bigger. He's already flying. What did we just read over here? Avengers Disassembled. Blow up land. Blow up more land. Make Fin Fang Foom bigger. And you can also basic check your opponent. That is strong. Really strong. Okay. Hawkeye, Master Marksman. 1 in a red, 2/2. First strike and reach. Trick arrows. Whenever Hawkeye becomes tapped, you may pay 1 up to 3 times. When you do, choose that many. Net, which is target creature can't block this turn. Explosive, Hawkeye deals 2 damage to target player. Or Boomerang, discard a card, then draw a card. That's actually pretty decent. Because like if you just attack, hold on. Whenever it becomes tapped, you may pay 1 up to 3 times. When you do, choose up to that many. Okay, so I'm assuming you can choose 1 option each time, not like choose explosive 3 times and then blast for like 8. Yeah, that's good. A lot of options, very versatile. I like it. Okay. Next up is Hawkeye Young Avenger, 4 mana, 2/4, reach. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, instead it deals that much damage plus X, where X is Hawkeye's power. Okay, so that basically just increases all of your burn by an additional 2 points without adding any power to her. That's pretty decent. Hawkeye's Bow. 1 red mana for an artifact equipment. The equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has reach. Whenever equipped creature becomes tapped, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Wow. Okay, so you take Hawkeye's bow, you slap it on Hawkeye, Hawkeye attaches or attacks, and you just choose explosive, and suddenly Hawkeye is doing 5 damage. That's wild. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, Hex Magic. 3 mana, sorcery, arcane. Exile all the cards from your hand, then draw that many cards. Until the end of your next turn, you may play cards exiled this way. Wow. Okay, so you exile the cards out of your hand. Let's say you have like 3 cards left in your hand. You exile those away. You draw 3 new cards. And now suddenly your hand is 6 real cards and 3 exiled cards. That's really, really good. I would probably pick some of that up. That's good. Hire a Crew, 3 mana instant. Create a 2/1 black villain creature token with menace. Then creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, and it's instant. You can make the villain at the end of your opponent's turn, or as response to an attack. That's pretty good. Oh boy, Hulk Smash. What is this? 1 in red. Instant, teamwork 4. Choose 1. If this spell was cast using teamwork, choose both. Destroy a target non-creature artifact. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. Okay, so it's a strike spell and a shatter at the same time, if you have teamwork. That's pretty cool. I like that. And I like all the Hulks in this artwork. That's pretty cool. I just gotta wait for this to load up real quick. Come on. Come on. Load it. Are you there? Hello? Load the cards, please. Okay, well, while that's loading, we're just gonna move on. Kunlun Warrior, 1 in a red. Creature, human warrior hero for 2 mana, or 2/2. When this creature enters, you may sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Okay, that's pretty decent. Kree Sentinel, 5 mana for a Kree robot villain. Has reach, it's 5/5, basic land cycling. Nothing special there. Lightning Strike with Thor on it. Deal 3 damage to your target. Still one of the best cards. Loki Lofison. I think that's how you pronounce that. 1 in red for a 2/1. 1 tap, when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to Loki's power this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. And power up, 5 mana, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Loki. Okay, so he can power himself up so he can cast better spells. But on his own, he can copy lightning bolts and things like that. It's not too terrible. Okay, what do we got up here? All right, Human Torch. Johnny Storm, 3 mana, 2/2, flying. Whenever you draw a card, if you control another hero, Human Torch deals 1 damage to target opponent. Hey, that's pretty decent. As a power-up, 6 and red, but 3 +1/+1 counters on Human Torch. It's all good. I do like that you can utilize power-up. Like, let's say, for example, you draw this late game and you have a ton of mana. You can play Human Torch and power him up. That's pretty cool. But early game power up is pretty worthless. Hydra Assault Robot. Robot villain, 1/3 for 2. Whenever another villain and or artifact you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to target opponent. Oh, that's pretty decent. Yeah, 1/3, and so it has a decent blocking body. Only 2 mana. Whenever you bring any artifact or a villain into play, it just pops them for 1. That's pretty good. Iron Fist, living weapon, 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you control, Iron Fist gains. Tap. Iron Fist deals damage equal to his power to any other target until end of turn. Hey, that's pretty good. I like that. Jessica Jones, Private Eye. 3 mana, 2/3. Tap, put a stun counter on Jessica Jones. Exile the top X cards of your library, where X is Jessica Jones's power. You may play those cards this turn. Fairly weak card, but I like the idea that you're tapping her and putting a stun counter on her to do this effect. kind of like creating the illusion that like she's going deep into the office and just poring over documents and photos and just trying to solve the whole thing. I think that's a pretty cool way to um, visualize someone going over documents. I think that's a pretty cool what's it, flavor. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay. Next up, we have Machine Smith Automaton. 3 mana, 2/2 trample. Whenever another artifact you control enters, put a +1/+1 encounter on this creature. It's alright. Misty Knight, Hero for Hire. 2 mana, 3/1. 2-tap, discard a card. Draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. Hey, that could be good in the right circumstances. But in a vacuum, she's not that great. Let's see. 4 mana for the Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor. Legendary artifact equipment. When Mjolnir enters, it deals 4 damage to up to 1 target creature. Okay, pretty decent. Double all damage equipped creature would deal. Yikes. Equip worthy. A creature is worthy if it's a legendary non-villain that's red and or white. Okay, so that means Thor or Captain America can wield the hammer. That's kind of cool. And then you pay 3, discard this card, it deals 2 damage to each creature. Hey, worst case scenario, it's a Pyroclasm. An instant speed Pyroclasm. Photon Blast Barrage. X red sorcery. When you cast this spell, copy it X times. You may choose new targets for the copies. Photon Blast deals 1 damage to target creature. Oh, okay. So you dump a bunch of mana into it, you storm off, play a whole bunch of copies of this, blast all over the place, and then you follow that up with a storm card. That could be pretty cool. Okay. Let's slide that down. May slide it back up. There we go. Cool. Okay. Quicksilver Brash Blur is a 1/1 for 1. If Quicksilver Brash Blur is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with him on the battlefield. Yo, that's cool. That's really cool. He has haste and power up 5, put a +1/+1 counter, and a double strike counter on Quicksilver. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. I really like that you can just put him on the table if he's in your opening hand. That's so cool. Okay, Red Hulk. Red Hulk is 4 and 2 red for a 6/7 with reach and trample. In Rage, whenever Red Hulk is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on him. When you do, he deals damage equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on him to any other target. Let me read that again. When he's dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on him. When you do, he deals damage equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on him. Okay, so deal damage to him, +1 counter, blast your opponent for 1. If he has more counters on him, blast him more. So this would go good in a deck that plays a lot of +1 counters. Maybe a deck with Ouroboros. Pile on the counters, smash. Pretty cool. Repulsor Blast. 4 mana, sorcery, teamwork 2. Repulsor Blast deals 5 damage to target creature. If the spell was cast using teamwork, it also deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. Yeah, that's not bad. I've seen better variations of this, but it's not bad. Scarlet Witch, 3 mana, 2/3. Instant and sorcery spells you cast with mana value 4 or greater cost X less to cast, where X is the Scarlet Witch's power. Okay, pretty cool. So she reduces casting costs of large spells. Speed, Young Avenger. 2/2 with haste, 2 mana. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay 1. When you do, target creature with haste can't be blocked this turn, except by creatures with haste. Oh, that's pretty cool. Stark Industries Executive. Is this Pepper Potts? So 1/2 for 1 red. 2-tap, create a treasure token. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, so Tony Stark is a rich person. Of course, his administrative assistant would come in and give him more money. Okay, super speed, 1 red, flash, enchant creature. When this aura enters, enchanted creature gains first strike till in a turn. Okay, cool. Combat trick. And enchanted creature gets +1/+1 haste. Okay, that's cool. That can be used as a nice little combat trick. Save your creature, give a creature haste. It's pretty versatile too. Only one red mana. Team tactics: 1 and red. Teamwork 1. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. If this spell was cast using teamwork, that creature also gains trample until end of turn. That's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah. Target creature gains double strike and trample if you teamwork it. Pretty cool. Thor, God of Thunder. 5 mana, 5/5 flying. When Thor enters, exile target equipment, instant, or sorcery card from your graveyard. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Thor deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. Let me reread this. Let's reread that first paragraph. When Thor enters, exile target equipment, instant, or sorcery card from your graveyard. Until end of turn, you may play that card. So, Thor is a Snapcaster Mage. He comes in, you don't even have to play Mjolnir from your graveyard. You can play a draw spell. You can play a kill spell. You can play any instant or sorcery you got. You could play Stock Up from your graveyard if you wanted to with Thor. That's bonkers. That's really good. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Thor deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. So as long as Thor's on the table and you play like your draw spells like Stock Up or Flow State or anything like that, Thor's going to do like 3 damage to your opponent's face or 2 damage or anything like that. You just cast non-creature spells and start slinging damage around. Like this is a really good top end to a spell slinger deck. Or hell, even a like a Jeskai control deck would definitely want this. This is kind of dope. It's like I was not expecting to like Thor that much. That's actually really solid. Yeah. Might have to pick up a couple of those. Truck Toss, 4 mana. This spell costs 2 less to cast if you control a vehicle. Truck Toss deals 4 damage to any target. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. Vision of Love. Oh, I love that art. That art alone is selling me on the card. Let's see what it does, though. 1 in red, you may sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Oh, that's awesome. Sacrifice a clue token, draw 2 cards. That's good. Volcanic Villain. 3 mana, 3/2, haste. Power up, 6. Put 2 plus most encounters this creature. No. Hard pass on that. Wonder Man, Hollywood Hero. This is Johnny Cage. 5 mana for 4/4, flying. Each power-up ability of permanents you control can be activated an additional time. Oh, okay. So power up 5 red, put 2 plus and plus encounters on Wonder Man. Activate each power-up ability only ... once. Reduce the cost by his mana cost if you enter this turn. That's funny. They modified the reminder text because of Wonder Man. That's funny. Okay, and that's Scarlet Witch and Speed again. I don't know why they put those back to the bottom. Anyways, yeah, okay, so let's talk about the cards that I would want to pick up from red in this set. Vision of Love, definitely. Having a mono red draw spell when all you have to do is sacrifice an artifact or discard a card, really good. I would play this. Thor, I'm absolutely picking up a few copies of Thor. That is a very good card. See here. What else would be good to pick up? Let's see here. Scarlet Witch is interesting, but I don't know if I would have a deck for it. Well, for getting Thor, we're kind of have to get Mjolnir also. just to get it. Let's see. Lightning Strike, that's a reprint. Don't have to worry about that. Let's see. Hex Magic. Hex Magic is very interesting. I might want to get a couple copies of those. Let's see. Evil's Thrall could be interesting in a villain's deck. Fin-Fang Foom definitely has my attention. I might pick up a couple copies of that. Blazing Crescendo. I really like this as a combat trick in like a Gruul deck, because a Gruul deck could probably really take advantage of the impulse draw. Death to Our Enemies, though, that is probably the primary card I would pick up and actually throw in a deck right now. That card is stupid. I love it. And yeah, Avengers Disassembled. So I would say Avengers Disassembled and Death to Our Enemies right off the rip, I would pick up 4 copies of each of those immediately. But Thor, I'll probably pick up maybe 2 copies of that because it's just a really solid game-ending card. I like it a lot. Yeah, so that is it for red in the new Marvel set. So stay tuned and we'll get into the green cards next. Okay, we're taking a look at the green Marvel cards. Let's just get right into it. Ant-Man's Army is first up. 3/2 for an insect, 3 mana. When this creature enters, create a food token or a treasure token. Hey, that's pretty good. I like the versatility of a food or a treasure token. I like that a lot. Call damage control, 1 and a green, sorcery. Choose up to 2. Return those cards from your graveyard to your hand. An artifact, a creature, an enchantment, or a land. That almost feels like a better regrowth. I think it honestly is a better regrowth. The only thing you can't get back are like non-permanents. It's like no instants, no sorceries. But this gets you back an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, or a land. This is actually really strong. I like that a lot. Okay, next is Claim the Kingdom. 1 and a green, enchantment plan, landfall. Okay, that means it's already problematic. Whenever a land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control and a plan counter on this enchantment. When the 4th plan counter is put on this enchantment, sacrifice it. When you do, put an indestructible counter on target creature you control. As far as the plans are considered, this one is probably the weakest. Doc Samson, super psychiatrist. He's a super psychiatrist. Okay, legendary creature, Gamma Dr. Hero. So he's 3/6 for 5 mana. If you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent you control, put that many +1 of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent instead. Tap, add X mana of any color, where X is Doc Samson's power. Wow, he taps for 3. I like that. Earth's Mightiest Heroes, 6 mana. Sorcery, Teamwork 5. Reveal the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. If this spell was cast using Teamwork, put any number of creature cards from among them onto the battlefield instead. Put the rest into your graveyard. Wow, that is very strong. You gotta have Teamwork 5 though, so you can't just develop a board out of nowhere. But this is really good. I like that a lot. Epic Fight, 3 mana. We got Wolverine and the Hulk here. And if you know, you know, that was an epic fight. 3 mana. Sorcery, choose 1 or both. Double target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Target creature you control fights target creature an opponent controls. That is so damn strong. So it's 3 mana, and it's slow, so you kind of have to plan for this. But you take a creature, you double its attack power and toughness, and then it just crushes something. And now that thing is out of the way for you to attack through. That's so good. What's the flavor text saying? You think being big is going to help you, bub? All that does is make you easier to hit. I love Wolverine. It's like I know he's kind of like a Mary Sue. It's like he's like indestructible, has plot armor the size of Texas, but I just like him. I think he's cool. Hey, Giant Growth. That's a reprint and thematic because of the ant. Go nuts. 1 green mana, Teamwork 3 sorcery. Choose 1. If the spell was cast using Teamwork, choose both instead. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Target creature control fights target creature. Hey, that's not bad. Yeah. Not bad for only 1 mana. Gorilla? Okay. 1 and a green. 2/2. Reach. Sacrifice this creature and destroy target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. Activate as a sorcery. Oh, that's interesting. But as a sorcery, that's pretty bad. Because every other version of like this effect allows you to do it in instant speed. Hellcat, Undying Vigilante. 2/2, human hero for 2 green mana. Haste. When Hellcat dies, return her to the battlefield under her owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on her. She loses all ability and gains haste. Okay, hold up. So for 2 green mana, you get a 2/2 haster. It's going to swing in. If it dies, it comes back as a 3/3 with haste. That's good. That's really good. I want to play that. Hercules, Prince of Power, 3 mana, 3/3 with power up, 4 and a green. Put a +1/+1 counter on Hercules. He gains Vigilance, Indestructible, and Haste until end of turn. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so you play him for 5, and he comes in as a 4/4 Vigilance, Indestructible, Haste. That's not bad. Heroic Feast, 2 and a green, enchantment. When this enchantment enters, create a food token. Whenever you gain life, choose up to that many creatures you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on each. I'm sorry? Whenever you gain life, choose up to that many creatures. Okay, so if you gain 1 life, you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. If you gain 2 life, on 2 creatures. Okay, I get it. Yeah. That's decent. That is decent. I won't say it's good, but it's decent. Okay. Next up is Hulkling, Burgeoning Bruiser. So it's a Vigilance 2/3. Whenever another creature you control enters, if it has greater power or toughness than Hulkling, put a +1/+1 counter on Hulkling. Okay, so he's a 2/3 with Vigilance for 3 with Evolve. Okay, that's decent. Khazar of the Savage Land. Ooh, I remember him. Okay, so I didn't watch or read a whole lot of the comics growing up, but I did watch probably every single episode of the old X-Men TV show, the Saturday morning cartoon show. And there was one episode where the X-Men go to the Savage Land and they all lose their powers because of the effects of the Savage Land. But this guy right here, Khazar, he lived in the Savage Land. He didn't need no powers. He was really cool. I really liked Khazar. He's very interesting. 4 and a green, 3/2. Legendary creature, Human Barbarian Hero. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play lands from the top of your library. When Khazar enters, create Zabu, a legendary 2/2 green cat creature token with landfall. Whenever land you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Zabu. Well, Zabu's pretty cool. I like Zabu. 5 mana is a lot to ask for this kind of effect on such a small body. I do like that he creates the cat when he comes in, so you are getting quite a decent bit of power and toughness across 2 creatures. But 5 mana is so much to ask for this effect. I think if he costs 4, he would see a lot of play. Okay, Knight of Wundagore, cat knight villain. 1 and a green, 2/1 trample. Whenever you put a +1/+1 counter on another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. This ability triggers once each turn. Okay, so it's a common. It's not that strong, but pretty cool. Mr. Hyde, Monster Within, 3 mana, 2/2. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose 1. Put a +1/+1 counter on Mr. Hyde. Remove a counter from a creature you control. If you do, draw a card. I like that. I like that you can remove. Oh, that's the flavor. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose 1. He becomes the monster by putting a +1/+1 counter on, or he becomes the man by removing the counter and drawing a card. The monster is stronger, +1 counter. The man is less strong, but is smarter, so you draw a card. That is an absolute flavor win. That is a great card. I love it. Mole Man, Moloid Master, 3 mana, 1/1. You may play lands from your graveyard. Oh, another one of those, huh? Landfall. Whenever land you control enters, create a 1/1 green minion creature token named Moloid. With whenever this token attacks, you may mill a card. Yeah, there's always one of these. It's funny. It's like we went so long with only having Crucible of Worlds, and now we're getting a new Crucible effect stapled onto a creature, almost like every 3rd set. Pet Avengers, 4 mana, 4/4 reach, is a creature, dragon, cat, dog, bird, frog, hero. Okay, I like it. Reach, power up, 7 mana. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature and create a 3/2 white hero creature token with vigilance. I love it. I love it. The flavor is so cool. Okay. Powerful Broker, 3 mana, 3/3. Tap. For each kind of counter on target permanent or player, give that permanent or player another counter of that kind. Activate only as a sorcery. For each kind of counter. Okay, not quantity of counter. Yeah, so you can't like double poison counters. You just give them an additional one. Punishing Punch, 3 mana, instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast if there are 2 or more creature cards in your graveyard. Target creature you control deals damage equal to twice its power to target creature an opponent controls. Huh. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm seeing a lot of like the same mechanics in green that we saw in black. So I'm kind of thinking that like a Jund villains deck can be possible. Because we're seeing a lot of villains in green here. Rapid Rescue. 1 green, instant. Mill 2 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the milled cards into your hand. You gain 2 life. Oh, that's actually good. That's actually really good. Only 1 red mana, or 1 green mana. But actually, I think that... Is that Seeds of Hope? I think Seeds of Hope does exactly this. Yeah. Reptile Dinomorpher. So 1 green for a 1/2. He has 2 abilities. He has Brontosaurus, pay 3 mana. Until end of turn, Reptile becomes a dinosaur hero with base power and toughness 3/5, gains vigilance and reach. Pretty cool. Now this is only until end of turn. Tyrannosaurus Rex is 6 mana. Until end of turn, Reptile becomes a dinosaur hero with base power and toughness 6/6 and gains trample. That's pretty cool. I like that. It kind of looks like you could have been like one of the Morlocks. Restorative Technique, 3 mana. Sorcery. Target player gains 2 life. Then searches the library for a basic land card, puts it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffles. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Wow, that does a lot. You gain life, you ramp, because it puts it onto the battlefield tapped. Yeah, so you gain life, you ramp by 1, and you put a +1 counter on a creature. That's pretty cool, because typically when you want to ramp, you kind of have to sacrifice other aspects of your game plan. This one allows you to kind of maintain tempo along with how you are ramping. So that's actually pretty solid. I like that. Rick Jones, Destined Sidekick. Okay. 1 green mana for a 0/3. 3 tap mill 4 cards. You may put a hero or enchantment card from among those cards into your hand. Kind of silly. Savage Land Dinosaur. 7/6, 6 mana. Trample. Basic land cycling 2. I think like every color has like one of these. Serpent Specialist. 1 green mana for a 1/1 Death Touch. Power up. 3 and a green. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature. Okay. Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. 1 and a green. 2/2. You may activate abilities of creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. Hey, that's sweet. And it's of creatures, not other creatures, so you can use it on it itself. Tap, add 2 mana of your own color, spend this mana only to activate abilities of creature sources. Okay, so that's kind of cool, because this guy allows you to basically hastify activated abilities. And this will add 2 mana of any color. And it only costs 2 mana to cast, so you're really not losing any tempo by playing Shang-Chi. That's actually really cool. She-Hulk, Jade Defender. 3 and a green, 4/4, reach, trample. Power up is 4 and 2 green, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. Put a +1/+1 counter on She-Hulk. That's not a bad ability. Yeah. So you cast it for 6, and she comes in as a 5/5, and you bust up a artifact or enchantment. I like that. Super Strength. 5 mana, enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +4/+4, trample, and ward 1. Okay, that's funny. Hey, it's the Thing. I like the Thing. See, I'm not a big fan of the Hulk. I think he's kind of silly, but I like the Thing. The Thing is interesting to me. He has a little bit more depth of character. The Thing, Ben Grimm, 5 and a green, legendary creature, human hero, 7/7, trample. Whenever 1 or more heroes you control deal combat damage to a player, put 2 +1/+1 counters on the Thing. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. Yeah, another hero hits the opponent, gets bigger. This actually pairs really well with Hawkeye, actually. Tigra, Feline Fury. 1 and a red, 2/1, flash, trample. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Tigra. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, not bad at all. Training Regimen, 3 and a green. Enchantment. Creatures you control with plus and plus encounters on them have trample. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a plus and plus encounter on target creature you control. Okay. Make it cost 3 and I'll play it. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. 1 and triple green. 4/4. Do you like squirrels? Whenever the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl enters or attacks, create a squirrel. I love squirrels. 4. Create X11 green squirrel creature tokens where X is the number of squirrels you control. That's pretty strong. You just swarm the board with a ton of squirrels. It's kind of like the Krenko of green. I can see a lot of people picking this up. Undercover Scroll. 2 mana, 1/1. As long as there are 2 or more creature cards in your graveyard, this creature gets +2/+2 and is all creature types. Very nice. And it taps to add 1 mana of any color. That's a pretty decent mana dork. It kind of reminds me of Werebear from, I think it was Odyssey. Wakandan Royal Guard. 5 mana for 4/4 Vigilance. When this creature enters, put a ++1 counter on target creature. If that creature is another hero, put 2 ++1 counters on it instead. Not bad. Decent body. 5 mana. Makes other things stronger. If you're playing into the archetype, they get much stronger. That's pretty good. Yeah. White Tiger. Ava Ayala. 1 and a green. 2/2. Power up of 6. Put a ++1 counter on White Tiger and create the Tiger God, a legendary 4/4 green cat god creature token with the Tiger God can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. For an uncommon, that's not bad. You play it at 6. Yeah, you play it at 6 and you basically get 7/7 worth of power. That's not bad. That's above rate. Okay, and here we have World War Hulk. 3 and 2 green for a saga. The next red or green creature spell you cast this turn can be cast without paying its mana cost. What? That's insane. Pay 5 mana and put like the Hulk on the table, or you put Thor on the table. That's bananas. Okay, part 2 is put 3 ++1 counters on target creature you control. Okay, make them bigger. Part 3 is choose target creature you control. Until end of turn, double its power and toughness and it gains trample. Yeah, this card really wants to be played with Hulk. It's like, let's just get stupid. Yeah, okay, that card's strong. Okay, all right, so I believe we are at the end. Yes, so that is all the green cards. Let's talk about the cards that I would personally want to pick up from this set. So while World War Hulk is a really cool card and pretty decent card, it's not one I would pick up because I don't really play that kind of strategy, so I would probably skip on that one. I might pick up an Unbeatable Squirrel Girl just because I like swarm strategies, and green squirrels, it's thematic. There's a lot of squirrel synergies over the years. You could definitely make something out of that. Let's see. Undercover Scroll is decent, but we have better mana dorks in standard. Let's see. Tiger Feline Fury is an interesting tempo card. I like that she has flash. I don't know if I'd pick it up though. Shang-Chi is definitely one that you probably want to pick up if you're playing into the power-up strategy. Let's see. Rapid Rescue, that's pretty strong. Restorative Technique. I would probably get a few copies of Restorative Technique. Let's see what else. Punishing Punch. Yeah. If I want to build a Jund Villains deck, I would pick up Punishing Punch. Let's see what else we got here. Hellcat. Yeah, I would definitely pick up copies of Hellcat. That's a very strong opening creature. Epic Fight, for sure. Yeah. Epic Fight, double the size of your dude and then clear the way. Yeah, and Call Damage Control. Yeah. Yeah, so Call Damage Control for sure. Epic Fight for sure. Punishing Punch, maybe. The only reason it's a maybe is because actually, no, this does not care about villains. No, that's a definite. Punishing Punch is really good. I would take Punishing Punch. Rapid Rescue and Restorative Technique. Those are the cards I would probably look for. Yeah. And pretty easy to get a hold of. Like, most of these are commons and uncommons. Yeah, so yeah, those are the cards I would be looking for personally if I wanted to get anything from green in this set. So there you go. That is green, and after this, we're gonna be looking at what's that? Oh, it's the multicolored cards. Yeah, so we'll be looking at those next. So stay tuned. Okay, so now we're getting to the more interesting cards. We're going to take a look at the multicolored cards from Marvel. Let's see what we have here. Starting us off is Abomination, the Terrifying Titan. For 3 and either a red or a green, you get a 4/4 trample with power up of 5 Gruul Gruul. Put a +1/+1 counter on Abomination. He fights up to 1 target creature and opponent controls. Okay, yeah, so if you want to pay 7 for this, he comes in bigger, hits something. It's not bad. Not bad for an uncommon, I'll say. Absorbing Man, 1 green blue. Say 4/4 vigilance. Okay, that right there is really good. 4/4 vigilance for only 3 mana. At the beginning of your first main phase, until your next turn, Absorbing Man becomes a copy of up to 1 target artifact, non-aura enchantment, or land, except his name is Absorbing Man. He's a legendary 4/4, in addition to his other types, and he has vigilance. So basically, at the beginning of first main phase, copy the text of any target artifact, non-aura enchantment, or land. So he can't copy other creatures, but he can copy enchantments. I think that's pretty strong. Copy enchantments, copy artifacts, copy the text from lands. For 3 mana, that's good. That's really good. Okay, next up, Alien Invasion. 1 red green enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 red alien creature token with haste, and this token attacks each combat if able. Put a +1/+1 counter on it for each invasion counter on this enchantment, then put an invasion counter on this enchantment. Okay, that's pretty good. So every turn, you make a dude, and they get bigger, and then bigger, and then bigger every turn. It's like every turn is a stronger guy. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Okay, Ant-Man, Colony Commander. 1 green, blue, 2/2. Whenever Ant-Man attacks, you may pay 1. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Whenever you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. Okay, so he swarms and makes things bigger. Pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Ares, God of War. Okay, you have my attention. 4/3 for 3 mana. Ares attacks each combat if able. Whenever an attacking creature you control dies, return that card to its owner's hand. Ooh, I like that a lot. So he attacks every turn. Whenever an attacking creature you control dies, including himself, it goes back to your hand, which then you can use to maybe discard for other effects, or maybe just play again for interest-play effects. That's pretty strong. Okay, next up, Armor Wars. 2 red, blue. It's a saga. You may draw a card for each artifact you control. If you do, each opponent draws a card. 2. Artifact spells you cast this turn cost 1 less to cast. 3. This saga deals X damage to target opponent, where X is the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Okay, that's pretty decent, actually. As far as like sagas go, that's probably one of the more interesting ones. Astonishing Ant-Man, green and blue, 1/1. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on the Astonishing Ant-Man. 2 in green, tap, remove any number of +1/+1 counters from the Astonishing Ant-Man, create that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens. Pretty cool, yeah. So he can get big, or he can make a lot of dudes. I like it. Okay, next up, Avengers Under Siege. This is another saga. It's 2 black, green. Create 2/1 black villain creature tokens with menace. So you make 2 spawn, or Hydra spawn. 2, this saga deals 2 damage to each non-villain creature and each opponent. Create a treasure token for each villain you control. That's actually pretty good too. That's a good saga. Beast, Erudite Airless. Ooh, Beast. I love Beast. 3 and either a green or a blue. 3/3. As long as you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on Beast this turn, he has flying. Okay, and his flying is temporary because he just jumps. He jumped good. Whenever Beast deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Okay, so You need to find a way to get a plus encounter on Beast, and he doesn't do it himself, so you got to find another way to do it. And then you can swing in the air and pop someone and draw a card. And of course, the flavor text is "Oh my stars and garters." I love Beast. He's so cool. All right, Black Panther Vanguard, 2 green white, 4/4. Whenever another non-token hero you control enters, choose one. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, or creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn. Pretty cool. I like that. Black Widow Double Agent. Okay, 1 white black, 3/2, Death Touch. And she's a hero and a villain. Keep that in mind. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains first strike and menace until end of turn. Okay, so if she attacks alone, she is a Death Touch, first strike, menace. That is super strong. Bullseye Death Dealer. 2 and either a black or a red. 2/3. When Bullseye enters, you may sacrifice an artifact or discard a non-land card. When you do, Bullseye deals 2 damage to any target. That's pretty good. Sacrifice a food token or something like that. Some bullshit you don't need. 3 taps, sacrifice an artifact or discard a non-land card. Bullseye deals 2 damage to any target. Wow, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Let's see if we can force that to load. There we go. Okay, Captain America Living Legend. Okay, so I'm not a huge Captain America fan, but even I have to admit, this is gorgeous art. That looks good. Like that, you got the sun shafts coming down through the clouds, the bullets igniting and bouncing off of the shield, like the glimmer from the suit. Like that's good art. That's good stuff. I like that. Okay, onto the card itself. 1 white and blue for a 3/4 with Vigilance. Whenever a creature you control becomes tapped during your turn, if it's the first time that creature has become tapped this turn, untap. Oh my god. Okay. So here's the thing, is Captain America is not a merfolk, but this ability right here is made for the Lorwyn merfolk. And it's even in the right colors too. That's pretty nutty. I like that. That's really good. Cloak and Dagger Entwined. 1 white black. 2/2. Death Touch and Lifelink. When Cloak and Dagger enter, choose target opponent and up to 1 target creature they control. They reveal their hand. You may exile a non-land card from their hand or the chosen creature until Cloak and Dagger leave the battlefield. Let me read that again. Choose target opponent and up to 1 target creature they control. They reveal their hand. You may exile a non-land card from their hand or the chosen creature on the battlefield until Cloak and Dagger leave the battlefield. Okay, that's actually super strong, because sometimes you don't have good targets on the table and you want to go after the hand, or vice versa. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. The Coming of Galactus is 2 black green for a saga. Part 1. Destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Part 2. Each opponent loses 2 life. Part 3. Each opponent loses 2 life. Part 4. Create Galactus, a legendary 16/16 black elder alien creature token with flying, trample, and whenever Galactus attacks, destroy target land. So here's something that's interesting. Galactus is like the eater of worlds, right? When he comes to your world, it's done. He's gonna gobble up your planet. You're all dead. So this is interesting because part 2 and 3 here, each opponent loses 2 life. So 2 times 2, that's 4. If you're starting at 20, that's going to put you to 16. Galactus is conveniently a 16/16 creature. So if he attacks even once, you're dead. If you can't block it, if you can't stop it, if you can't gain more life, Galactus is going to gobble you up. That's pretty crazy. Now, here's the thing that I would do with this, though, is I would wait until part 4 happens, and I wouldn't even try to attack with it. I would fling it. I would just toss that big-ass alien at your face and just end the game right there. That is silly. I like this card a whole lot. Daredevil, Man Without Fear. 2 red and white. 3/4 Vigilance and Haste. Radar Sense. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Whenever you attack, you may exile the top card of your library. If that card is a hero card, Daredevil gets +2/+1 until end of turn. You may play that card this turn. Hey, that's pretty decent. So he becomes a 5/5 Vigilance Haste if you pull a hero off the top. Ghost, Spectral Saboteur, 2 and a blue or black for a 2/2 flash. Intangibility. Ghost can't be blocked. Hey, I like that. I like that a lot. I like can't be blocked. That's cool. Hulk, Gamma Goliath. So we have another version of Hulk now. 3 red and green, 6/5 reach trample. Power up abilities of other creatures you control cost 3 less to activate. Power up. Put 5+1/+1 counters on Hulk. Power up. Make big. Iron Man, Master of Machines. 2 blue, red. Flying Vigilance. Iron Man gets +1/+0 for each other artifact you control, and he's a 1/4. Whenever Iron Man attacks, if an artifact entered the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. Okay, that's pretty decent. Pretty decent. Yeah, that's not bad. Kang, Temporal Tyrant. 2 blue and black, 3/4. Whenever Kang attacks, he connives. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Ooh, I like that. Now, if only you had flying. If you had flying, that would be a really good card. Killmonger, Scourge of Wakanda. 2 black and green, 3/3. When Killmonger enters, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy a target non-land permanent opponent controls. Okay, that's really good. Like, that line of text right there will get me to play Killmonger. As long as there are 2 or more creature cards in your graveyard, Killmonger gets +2/+1. Yeah, I really think they're going into like the Golgari or Jund villains route. I like that. Yeah, Killmonger's pretty solid. King T'Challa. 1 white blue, 3/2, flash. Whenever player draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. Okay, so that's Fairy Mastermind. 4 white blue, transform King T'Challa. Let's see what he becomes. Black Panther, Hope Enduring. 3/3, flash, double strike. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to Black Panther. Wow. Whenever Black Panther deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Damn. And that's just flash. That is so good. Flash, double strike, no damage gets dealt to him. Card drop. That's good. That's real good. Especially if like the double strike goes through for both hits. That's nasty. The Kingpin of Crime. 1 white black for a 1/5, and he has Extort. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay a white or a black. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain that much life. Cool. I like that. Whenever you attack, you may pay 2 life. If you do, until end of turn, creatures you control with toughness greater than their power assign combat damage equal to their toughness rather than their power. This guy wants to be played in Abzan Treefolk. That's where that wants to go. Madame Hydra. 2 black, red, 2/3. Whenever you cast a villain spell, create a 2/1 black villain. Oh my god, it makes Hydras. That's so cool. I like that. The Mighty Thor, Jane Foster. Okay, so it's different Thor. So 1 white and blue. This is a 3/3 flying. Whenever the Mighty Thor attacks, exile up to 1 target non-token artifact or creature. Then return that card to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Okay, so you can flicker something your opponent has or something you have. That's pretty cool. Whenever an equipment you control enters, draw a card. Okay, so they care about enchantments, obviously. Or equipment, I mean. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. This is a human dinosaur hero for a 1 green and blue. 2/2. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, until end of turn, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur's base power and toughness become 6/6 and they gain trample. Pretty good. Whenever an artifact you control enters, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Yeah, so that's whenever an artifact enters, not when you play one. So if you create a token, that triggers. That's pretty good. I like that. I like that a lot. The Ruinous Wrecking Crew. X black red 2/2. The Ruinous Wrecking Crew enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. When the Ruinous Wrecking Crew enters, choose up to X. Discard a card, then draw a card. Target opponent loses 2 life. Destroy target token. Each player sacrifices a creature of their choice. That is dumb. That is really dumb. So if you can play this for 4 black red, it comes in as a 6/6, and then you discard and draw. Your opponents lose 2 life. Destroy a token, and each player sacrifices a creature of their choice. That's crazy. I like that a lot. I like it a lot. Scientist Supreme of AIM is black and blue, 2/2, and it says pay 2 life, copy target activated or triggered ability you control from an artifact source. You may choose new targets for the copy. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. Pretty cool ability. I like that the activation is paying life rather than paying mana. That's pretty cool. The Serpent Society. 1 black green 3/4 Death Touch. Ward. Get 5 poison counters. That ward cost is insane. Get 5 poison counters. So that basically means that someone will be able to pay the ward cost exactly 1 time. Whenever another creature you control with Death Touch dies, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature of their choice. Okay, so that means we're playing Abzan. Oops, all Death Touch. That's stupid. I love it. I absolutely love that card. Speedball, New Warrior. 2 and blue-black, or blue or red. 2/2. Whenever a player casts a spell that targets Speedball, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You may choose new targets for that spell. Oh. So if your opponent tries to spot removal it, he gets bigger, and then you change the target. Or if you play a buff spell like that +3/+1 impulse draw card we saw earlier, you can give him +3/+1. He gets +2/+2, and then you move that +3/+1 to a different creature. So it's like a total of like +5/+3 in total power and toughness buff for only 2 mana across 2 creatures. Oh, that's dirty. I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. Okay. Spider-Man to the rescue. Did we not have enough Spider-Man? Why do we have more Spider-Man? Spider-Man to the rescue is 2 and a green or white for 3/2, flash, vigilance, and reach. No one dies. When Spider-Man enters, you may tap him. When you do, another target non-attacking creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Is this the everybody gets 1 joke? I think it is. Everyone gets 1. Tell him, Peter. Oh my god, that's so funny. That's actually pretty good too. It's flash, vigilance, and reach in a 3/2 for 3 mana. When Spider-Man enters, you may tap him. When you do, another target non-attacking creature you control gains indestructible. So you can't do it to like save an attacker, but you can save anything else. That's really silly. I like that a lot. Okay. Spider-Woman, Secret Agent, is 3 and either a white or blue for 1/4. That's flash. When Spider-Woman enters, tap target creature opponent controls. That creature can't become untapped for as long as you control Spider-Woman. That's pretty good. I like that. Too expensive, but I like that ability. Storm, Windrider. I love Storm. What a cool character. 1 green, white, white. 4/4 flying. Creatures with flying can't attack you or block creatures you control. Whenever you cast a spell that targets 1 or more creatures, those creatures gain flying. Whenever you cast a spell that targets 1 or more creatures, those creatures gain flying until end of turn. So she gives other people flying and makes it so your opponents can't block your flyers. That's really strong. Like, really strong. Kind of reminds me of Sigarda a little bit. Yeah, I like her. That's really good. The Superhero Civil War. 3 red white for a saga. Gain control of up to 2 target creatures with total mana value of 6 or less for as long as this saga remains on the battlefield. Oh wow, that's good. 2. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. 3. Target creature you control fights up to 1 other target creature. That's funny. Okay, so if we get to part 3 and we still have both of our opponent's creatures, we can have one of those 2 stolen creatures fight the other one, and they potentially both die before going back to the opponent. That's cool. I like that a lot. That's very good. Yeah, that's a very interesting card. And in red and white, that's very interesting. So, Taskmaster, Mercenary Mimic, 2 blue, black, 3/5. No keywords or anything, but he has photographic reflexes at the beginning of your first main phase. Until your next turn, Taskmaster becomes a copy of up to 1 target creature on the battlefield or creature card in a graveyard, except his name is Taskmaster. Mercenary Mimic, and he's a legendary human mercenary villain creature. Okay, cool. So if he's on the table, he can copy something in a graveyard or copy something on the table. That's like one of the best clones ever. Yeah, that's just really cool. Yeah, it can't do the thing that Superior Spider-Man does because this triggers at the first main phase. But this is solid. I like that. All right, Thanos, the Mad Titan, red, white, and black for a 4/4, Death Touch and Lifelink. Power up, Carlos and Wooburg. So that's 6 mana. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Thanos. Choose odd or even. Destroy each other creature with mana value of the chosen quality. Yeah, pretty cool. So if you were to do that and use the power up ability immediately, so it'd be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you play it on turn 6. That's not terrible, honestly. Yeah, 6 mana for a 6/6 Death Touch Lifelink, and then you choose which creatures to destroy. That's not the worst thing I've ever seen. All right, let's see here. Okay, we have Thor Odinson. This is 3 mana, red and white, 4/4, flying, vigilance, prowess. Okay, so he's not as good as the mono red version of Thor because it's an uncommon. Obviously, you have to have a power budget there, but that's pretty cool. So there's flying, vigilance, and prowess. I would say knock that mana cost down to 4, and we could talk. 5 is a bit much. Okay. Titania, Rugged Rumbler. 2 and either a black or a green for a 5/5 as an additional cost to cast this spell. Discard a card or pay 2. Okay, that's pretty easy. Just discard a card. Ward, discard a card or pay 2. Okay, that's decent. So it's just a 5/5 beat stick that comes with a drawback, but also has a ward of the same drawback. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's good. U.S. Agent John Walker. 3 and either a white or a black. 3/2. When U.S. Agent enters, create a Carlos equipment artifact token named Sturdy Shield. With equipped creature gets +1/+2 and equip 2. Attach it to U.S. Agent. Okay, so he's basically a 4/4 for 4 mana. That's pretty much it. Yeah, he's a wannabe Captain America. Yeah. Okay. Vision Quest. Let's see what this is. This is X blue red. Sorcery. Search your library and or graveyard for an artifact creature card with mana value X or less. Put it onto the battlefield with X additional +1/+1 counters on it. If X is 4 or greater, it gains haste until end of turn. If you search your library this way, shuffle. Okay, so let's say, what's something for 4 mana that would be good to search up with Vision Quest? Maybe Solemn Simulacrum. Then you get a 6/6 Solemn Simulacrum with haste. It comes in and you get a land out of your library. If it dies, you draw a card. That's not terrible. I like that. War Machine, Legacy of Iron. 2 and either a red or a white for a 1/3 flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gets plus X plus O until end of your turn, where X is War Machine's power. It's okay. Winter Soldier, Icy Assassin. White and black, 2/2, Vigilance Menace. Winter Soldier gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to him. 3 white black. Return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on him. Then you may attach an equipment you control to him. Okay, so again, it's all about the equipments, so I'm not really too interested in it. Pretty cool card though. Wolverine Fierce Fighter. 2 red green. 3/5 haste. When Wolverine enters, he fights up to one other target creature. Okay, so basically he comes in, deals 3 damage or something. Not bad. If damage would be dealt to Wolverine, instead that damage is dealt, but all other damage already dealt to him is healed. Okay, so that's how they do his healing factor. So he comes in, he fights someone, he has some damage on him. Then he attacks and someone blocks. Well, the damage that was on him is now healed, and now new damage can be dealt to him. That's really cool. Yeah, so you basically have to like one-shot Wolverine in order to get him off the table. That's pretty cool. Worlds Within Worlds. 5 green and blue. Exile all creatures. Each player may put any number of creature cards from their hand onto the battlefield. Then put all cards exiled this way into their owner's hands. Exile Worlds Within Worlds. That's interesting. That's like a way to like do like a microverse kind of thing. So you got the battlefield, you cast Worlds Within Worlds, and then you have the micro world, which is in your hands, vomited onto the table. And then all the things that were on the table, the original universe, then goes into your hand, kind of like it's enveloping the micro universe that you just put onto the table. That's an interesting flavor. I like that. That's cool. Okay, those are just cards we've already seen. Okay, get into artifacts next. Okay, so now that we've seen the multicolored cards, what cards do I think I want to pick up from this blue block here? First up, Captain America, because I actually really want to make the white-blue Merfolk deck, so Captain America would be a pretty good include for that deck. Let's see, aside from that, Wolverine would be cool to have, but I don't really have a deck for him. Let's see, what else we have here? Vision Quest would be cool, but I don't really think I can fit him into any decks. See, Storm would be cool. Don't know how I would build that, though. I think that would have to be like a Bant deck. Taskmaster is cute, but again, like the problem with clones is like you got to have good stuff to copy. Serpent Society, that is like definitely picking that up. That is a fantastic card. Let's see, what else do we have here? Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I could probably make something work with that because that's actually a pretty decent card. Let's see. Killmonger. Yeah, I think I would pick up a couple copies of Killmonger for a Jund deck. That is a really good card. Coming of Galactus would be a funny meme deck where you get Galactus onto the table and then you fling it. That would be really funny. Let's see. Black Widow Double Agent is actually really good. Like seeing this alone makes me think about making an Orzhov Death Touch deck. Ares God of War is really cool. I like this card a lot. Absorbing Man is also super cool. I like this card. Yeah, Absorbing Man I would definitely pick up. But yeah, Ares would be a maybe. Black Widow would be a maybe. Captain America is a definite. Yeah, I feel dirty about it, but like that's just a good card for the Merfolk strategy. It's so strong. Killmonger, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically my picks for the multicolored. Those are kind of things that I would want to pick up. So after this, we're going to be taking a look at all of the colorless and other cards in the set. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you in that video. Okay, so we're back with the remaining cards from the set. We're going to look at all of the colorless and lands and anything we haven't seen already. So let's get into it. We start with Aim Synthoids. 2 mana, 1/3, robot villain. When this creature enters, surveil 2. Okay, that's nothing special. Arc Reactor, 5 mana, improvise. Your artifacts can help cast this spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for 1. Okay, that's cool. This artifact enters tapped, and you can tap it to add triple colorless, actually. Okay, so it's kind of like a Thran Dynamo. Captain America's Shield. 2 mana, indestructible equipment. Equipped creature gets +0/+8 and has vigilance. Whenever equipped creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. All right, Cosmic Cube. 5 colorless. Artifact has a ward of 2 colorless. Whenever you attack, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may cast a spell from among them with mana value less than or equal to the greatest power among attacking creatures you control without paying its mana cost. Put the rest of the button up in any order. Wow, that's pretty solid. Now you can just cast any spell from the top of your library. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Dependable Quinjet. 3 mana, 3/3, flying. Tap, add 1 mana of any color, and crew 4. Okay, so it's a crewable mana rock. That's kind of cool. Herbie Scout Unit. 4 for a 2/1, flying. When this creature enters, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Iron Man Armor. 3 colorless, equipment. When this equipment enters, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and flying. Pay 2. If this equipment isn't a creature, it becomes a 0/0 construct hero artifact creature with flying, and this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Oh, cool. Yeah, so you can activate it as a 1/1 if it's the only thing you got. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. Shield Helicarrier. 4 colorless, 4/5, flying. When this vehicle enters, create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. There's a crew cost of 6. That's kind of heavy. Super Adaptoid. 2 for a star 2 robot villain. Super Adaptoid's power is equal to the number of legendary creatures you control. Whenever Super Adaptoid enters or attacks, choose another target creature. If that creature has haste and Super Adaptoid doesn't, put a haste counter on Super Adaptoid. Do the same for flying, first strike, double strike, death touch, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, trample, and vigilance. Okay, so it just absorbs the keywords of your other creatures. Not too bad. And like a star 2 for only 2, that's pretty decent. I'm sure it can get shocked, but it's pretty cool. The 10 Rings, 8 mana. That is a lot. Your maximum hand size is 10 because there's 10 rings. At the beginning of your end step, if you have fewer than 10 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. Oh my goodness. I need a way to cheat that into play. That's a crazy card. Like 8 mana is a crazy amount of mana to spend on it, but that's a pretty cool card. All right, Ultron, Artificial Malevolence. Not artificial intelligence, artificial malevolence. All right, 3 mana, 2/4, robot villain. Whenever another non-token artifact you control enters, you may pay 2. If you do, create a token that's a copy of it. If the token isn't a creature, it becomes a 2/2 robot villain. Oh, that's pretty decent. For only 3 mana, that's actually pretty good. Ultron Drone. Artifact creature robot villain, 2/3, power up of 6. Put 2++ counters on this creature and create a 2/2 robot. It's alright. Vibranium Energy Daggers. 1 mana, indestructible. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, and equip 3. That's interesting. It's just a common. The Vision. 4 colorless, 2/5, flying vigilance. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Solar Beam. The Vision gains double strike until end of turn. Density Control. The Vision gains indestructible until end of turn. Technopathy. Draw a card. So this is a card that kind of wants to be played with kind of like a Spellslinger deck. Yeah. Like a prowess style deck would definitely want this. Viv Vision Teen Synthezoid. So this is what Kid Vision. Okay, 3 colorless, 2/2, flying. Cybernetic senses. When Viv Vision attacks, draw a card if her power is 4 or greater. Okay, power up is 7. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Viv Vision. Okay, so if you play her at 7, she automatically gets that ability. Yeah, so whenever she attacks, draw a card. Okay, yeah, it's all right. Really, really, really expensive. Okay, now we're getting to the lands here. So let's see if there's any good lands in this set. So we have AIM Labs. So we have a cycle of gain lands, which is when this land enters, you gain life. It taps for 1 or other mana and enters tapped. So that's AIM Labs, Asgardian Citadel, Avengers Hangar. Then we have Avengers Tower. So it's an uncommon, taps for a colorless. You can tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast a hero spell or to activate an ability of a hero source. For tap, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a hero card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Then we have the Baxter Building. So this is the Fantastic Four Tower. So tap, add colorless. 4 tap, add 4 mana in any combination of colors, and 4 tap, draw a card, activate only if you control a creature with toughness 4 or greater. Yeah, it's 4/4/4, and so 4s all the way down. Burnin Zana Plaza. Okay, so that's the gain land for white and green. Castle Doom. That art is very reminiscent of Castle Sanger from Homelands. Taps for colorless, or tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast an artifact spell. 3 taps, sacrifice an artifact, create a 3/3 colorless robot villain artifact creature token named Doombot. Activate as a sorcery. That's pretty cool. Dark Fortress. This is add a colorless or add black or red. Activate only if this land entered this turn or if you control a basic land. Hey, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, so there's no this comes into play tapped nonsense, and it'll only add colorless unless you have a basic land. So that's good. I like that. Is there one for every color? It looks like there is. Oh wait, no, that's Fisk Tower. That's the gain land. Gathering Place. Okay, so that's the one for white and green. Gleaming Bastion for white and blue. Hell's Kitchen. That's the gain land. Oh, come on. Load it up. There we go. Hidden Lair. Okay, so that's the one for Demir. Los Diablos Missile Base. That's the gain land. Gain land for Simic. Gain land for Izzet. Subterranean Cavern. That's the gain land for Golgari. Surveillance Room. When this land enters Surveil 1, add a colorless or pay 1, tap, add 1 mana of any color. It's not good. Training Compound. Okay, so that's the cool land for Gruul. Villainous Hideout. Really nice art on that. I like that. Add a colorless or tap, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a villain spell or to activate an ability of a villain source. 3 tap, target villain you control connives. Ooh, that's good. That's really good. Also, I think that's better than the hero one. And then we have our basic lands. Avengers Tower, Baxter Building again. Okay, yeah, that is pretty solid. Okay, so out of this grouping here, obviously the new dual lands are something that you probably want to pick up if you're playing a lot of basic lands in your decks. If you're not playing basic lands, you probably have better things you can go for. But it couldn't hurt to get a few copies of those just to have them for certain decks. Let's see. Then we have Castle Doom. If you're playing like the Doombot strategy or just like villains in general, this is probably a good one to have. Let's see here. As far as the colorless cards, the Super Adaptoid's pretty cool, but you really have to build around it. The 10 rings would be good if you can cheat that into play. Let's see. The Arc Reactor could be good, just because it taps to add 3, and you can tap your other artifacts to help get into play. But yeah, out of all like the colorless cards, there really aren't a whole lot that really get me going. It's pretty much mostly the new dual lands. That's pretty much it. I'm not too worried about anything else here. So yeah, that's the rest of the cards. So we have fully seen the entire spoiler list for all of Marvel. So whether you are into Universes Beyond or not, that's going to be it. And that's the cards you're going to be seeing being entered into standard in the next couple weeks. So like it or not, we're about to see a bunch of superheroes and villains crawling up our craws in standard. So get ready for it and go ahead and pick out some of your favorite cards and buy some singles. Buy some sealed product if you want to. I won't be buying any sealed product, but there are a few singles that I think I'll be picking up. So, in the comments below, why don't you give me a list of your favorite cards from the set? What cards are you really excited for? Let me know what you are going to be building. Are you going to be building a new deck out of the stuff from the set, or do you have existing decks that you may find one or two cool cards to build up with? So let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, take care of yourselves.